Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Morning. Hey, guys.
Hi, Jenny.
Ain't got time for you this morning.
So, Mr. Sharpe.
I ain't got nothing to say. Let's go ahead, Jenny. I ain't got nothing to say. What?
Your man LeBron last night was the literal GOAT, as in lowercase GOAT, as in the unclutch man who cost the Lakers the basketball game by missing free throws and a three. I just thought I'd throw that out to get us off to a good start. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Get those numbers out there.
That's all you
That
got.
was unnecessary.
That's all you got.
I thought we were talking about the
Well,
Cowboys.
a lot of people had to go to bed early last night, and I had to update them.
Oh,
how
now
are you,
like,
Shannon?
Now you like
there we
updating
go.
people.
Thank you for staying
Thank
up
you.
for us.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that game was incredible.
Whew.
Interesting.
Whew.
Okay,
So was that
LeBron.
trade, Jenny.
We have a lot to get to today, including what Skip mentioned. If LeBron choked, is Eli done?
No.
And Jon Gruden, does he actually know what he's doing? But we
No.
are going to start with the Cowboys because they had a busy day. They
Yep.
made a huge trade yesterday, acquiring Amari Cooper from the Raiders for a first-round pick. The Cowboys' offense has been criticized all season for their lack of a number one receiver. Cooper is a two-time Pro Bowler, but he only has 22 catches and 1 touchdown this season. Skip, do you like the move?
Jenny, Shannon.
Yep.
After sleeping on this trade, I don't like it. I love this trade for my Dallas Cowboys. That's Amari. We got him. We just got
Amari.
you got it. We just got way better than we were about 24 hours ago. So, did Jerry Jones wildly overpay for Amari Cooper? Yes, he did. I sat right here in this chair last week when we did this topic, speculating on this potential trade, and I said I wouldn't give more than a fourth rounder for Amari Cooper. But then late last night, I see that Michael Silver of NFL.com reported that the Eagles had offered a second for Amari Cooper and that the Redskins were hot on his trail also. So Lord knows that Howie Roseman of the Eagles has beaten Jerry Jones to the punch repeatedly over the last 2 years. So why not overpay? Why not finally beat the Eagles to the punch? Finally, Jerry Jones actually did something, because we know that for the last year, as I've repeatedly pounded this table about here on Undisputed, he's just rested on his Hall of Fame laurels. So finally, Jerry Jones did what he used to do. He plunged. He sent a message to his locker room. Big time help is on the way, and now let's go win the NFC East, because I'm going to remind everybody, Amari Cooper, once upon a time, was the 4th overall pick in the draft. He made the Pro Bowl his first 2 years in the league. And guess what, boys and girls? He's only 24 years of age. He doesn't turn 25 until June. So he will cost next year $13.9 million.
Which is nothing.
Okay. Well, given what's coming in this next free agent crop of wide receivers, that to me is a bargain when you consider it's Golden Tate and John Brown and Randall Cobb and Chris Hogan. That's it. Right. And when I look at the next year's draft crop, it's okay, but there's nothing special. I'm not saying that guy's going to change your life or that guy's going to change your life, but Amari Cooper could change your life. So you kept him away from Philly. You kept him away from Washington. And Lord only knows that my wide receiver group was in desperate need of a quasi number one receiver because I got a collection of number 3s, right? Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, Amari Cooper's going to make Dak Prescott a little better. Yeah. I think he might make Ezekiel Elliott a whole lot better because at least he poses a threat. At least he ran 4.4 at the combine. So I got a glider with easy, effortless, deep speed. And do you think that Amari might just be re-energized to show Jon Gruden, prove him wrong for giving up on him so quickly? So I just think that overall, once I woke up this morning, I thought, he overpaid. But who cares? Right. Because my team just got a whole lot better than it was 24 hours ago.
Well, Skip, I'm going to have to agree with you. Although they had to pay a premium, this is normally what happens when more than one team gets into the bidding action. Because if Dallas could have stand pat, I'm sure Dallas would have preferred to give up a 3rd or 4th round pick. But now all of a sudden, 2 teams within your division that's in front of you, Skip, they're trying to take him away from you. And if you want to send a message to your team, not only to your team, but to your quarterback, you've handicapped him. You took Dez away, Skip, but you really didn't replace Dez with anything. Jason Witten got a great opportunity to go to Monday Night Football, an offer too good to pass up. You really didn't replace him with anything. So if you think Dak, and Jerry says Dak is more than a bus driver, you need to show people that by giving him someone that he has the confidence in, that I can drop back and throw him the football, and he's going to win more times than not in one-on-one.
To your point, does this increase the pressure and the spotlight on Dak?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Skip, is that what concerns me about Amari Cooper is that he'll have one game for 14 yards, and then he'll have 10 for $143.
Mm-hmm.
He'll have 2 games for a grand total of 30 yards, and then he'll pop up again for 8 for $116.
That's why he's no longer an Oakland Raider. Go ahead.
Because his first, like you mentioned, his first 2 years he's in the Pro Bowl. Now, some of his inconsistency can be tied directly to Derek Carr, because Derek Carr has not been the same quarterback he was, Skip. You remember, he was in the MVP running.
He was.
He gets hurt late in the season. He's never shown that form again. And this is also what I know about Jon Gruden. He loves to coach people he doesn't actually have to coach. Now, when he was doing Monday Night Football, Skip, he heaped praise on Amari Cooper. He heaped praise on Khalil Mack. He loved Johnny Manziel. He loved Tim Tebow. Like I said before, being a color analyst is entirely different than being a head coach.
Well, it's not like John didn't know what it was like to be a head coach before he was a color analyst. But go ahead.
No, he loved coaching those guys he didn't have to coach. Oh, I love that guy. That's a guy I can fight with him. He'll win for you. Oh, really? he can win for you. I thought you wanted to coach him. But that's neither here nor there. I love what they do. And as you mentioned, this does add pressure to Dak because he has a true number one now. Now, the question is, how soon can he get caught up to speed, and does the change of scenery does him good? Skip, if he was struggling with inconsistency, if you're struggling with that as a player, the last thing you need is a coach that comes in and browbeats you. Son, your depth on the route is not good. Son, you got to make that play. Yada, 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 yada. Instead of building him up, Coach Gruden strikes me as a guy that just rides you and grinds you down, as opposed to building you up. And that's the last thing you need when you've lost your confidence. So maybe. Okay. Now, also you have to ask yourself, Skip, this question. Does Amari Cooper at this point right now have more upside than Josh Gordon? Because you could have had Josh Gordon for a 5th rounder. You could have had Calvin Ridley for a 1st rounder. Because you could have had Calvin Ridley as opposed to the tackling Dutchman. Okay, now the tackling Dutchman did come in good because Sean Lee missed a couple of games. But ask yourself, Calvin Ridley, he sure looks good in Atlanta, Skip. Okay. You could have had him. You could have had Earl Thomas for a 2nd. The questions are...
Remember, he bid for Sammy Watkins. I think he finished 2nd in the bidding. Jerry did for Sammy Watkins. Would I rather have Amari over Sammy? I would. I'll take Amari.
Yeah, because Sammy, the thing is, but both of them, what do they suffer with, Skip? Inconsistency.
Okay, but one guy does stay healthy, even though Amari's in concussion protocol right now, but he has stayed big picture healthy, right? Yes. And Sammy is always nicked, right?
Yes.
Okay, so to your point about Amari, why does the intensity and effort come and go? Well, he's the opposite of so many receivers that I have covered and known for the Dallas Cowboys. He is not an alpha. He is more of a follower than a leader. There's no diva in him. I had the pleasure of getting to know him a little bit when he was on a show that I used to do on the other network, and I spent a little time around him. It was at the college football playoffs. It was the first Clemson-Alabama game in Phoenix, and he was there representing his alma mater, obviously, Alabama. He is a really good kid, pretty quiet, bright kid, nice personality. There's no diva to him at all. So he doesn't play with Terrell Owens' rage on the field. He doesn't play with.
He's not very outgoing either, Skip.
There's no Dez Bryant reckless abandon to him, like see ball, I'm going to go up and snatch the ball. He doesn't have that kind of killer mentality to him. He's an effortless glider on the football field. He's a good route runner, a smooth route runner.
Technically sound.
Who can almost effortlessly, with nuance, just run right by you before you know what hits you.
Right.
Because he doesn't look like he's trying very hard or running very fast, but he is fast.
You know what's surprising, though, Skip? Considering that he went to Alabama, and we know Coach Saban coaches his team hard, that maybe that Coach Gruden started to wear on him. Maybe. I find that very hard. That, when you're used to tough coaching, other tough coaches doesn't bother you. If you played at Alabama, if you notice, Coach Belichick loves getting guys from Alabama. Why? Because he knows they're coached hard. Now, they do come from a very similar system, especially defensively, a 3-4 defense. That's what Coach Saban's run. But Coach Saban served as the D coordinator under Coach Belichick when he was in Cleveland. And so he knows they've been worked hard. He knows they've been coached hard.
Okay, but what does Amari have in common with Julio Jones? They're both Nick Saban products, but they're both they're I'm not saying soft, but they're quiet.
Yes.
They're not big outgoing diva personalities. And I think Coach Saban is at such a high level right now with his recruiting that he can pick and choose who he wants and doesn't want, and he liked those two kids because they're good kids, right?
And maybe and another thing about it, what makes a coach a good coach is understanding who he's dealing with.
Yep.
He probably not yelling and screaming at a Julio Jones and an Amari Cooper.
I think he left him alone.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like one-play shays. He only needed a couple from him a game, and he left them alone because he coached the defense hard, right?
Yes.
And he was kind of on the quarterback pretty hard because he's a game manager and a bus driver, but he needed one big catch a game from those two guys, a couple of big catches to break the game open. That's all they needed.
But we saw Amari as opposed to Julio. I mean, Julio went over 1,000 yards. But Amari Cooper, I think it's last year, he caught like 117, 120 passes because what's the offensive coordinator, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin did a great job of scheming and getting him the football.
He did. I agree.
So this is, Skip, he's only in his fourth year. The dude is 24.
24 years old.
Let that sink in. He's 24.
So let this sink in, and this is not probably going to surprise you, but I saw an ESPN stat last night that Dak Prescott, that only 36.4% of his passes have gone to what you would call open receivers who are 3 yards or more in separation.
Yeah.
Only 36.4. That's dead last among the 22 quarterbacks who qualify with 200 or more passes. So of all the starting quarterbacks who throw a lot of footballs, his receivers separate by far the least.
Right.
And then furthermore, his receivers, his passing yards, only 43.9% of his yards passing have come after the catch. Well, that's 21st of those 22 quarterbacks, okay? So they're not getting open, and they're not breaking away after they catch the
A lot
ball.
of times, Skip, that can be twofold. That can be guys are not getting open, and a lot of that is scheme. Because if you look at the New England Patriots, they get a lot of guys wide open because of scheme. They do a lot of rubs. They do a lot of option routes. And you don't see the creativity of what we see in some of the other. You look at the Saints, you look at the Rams, you look at Minnesota, look at Kansas City.
Yep.
Now, most of their yards come after yards after catch because
I think he would be number one on this list by far.
Andy Reid said, let's get the ball to them as quick as we possibly can. They'll make a guy miss and get yards after that. So a lot of that, I give you credit. I'll agree with that Dak, because, Skip, the thing is that in the NFL, you're going to have to throw in the tight windows, but these are not guys that put fear. So they don't back guys up off them because I'm not really worried about you. That's why sometimes Gallup was able to sneak by or Tavon Austin because they don't respect him. And they know Dak doesn't, feel comfortable yet throwing the ball down the field. So I'm going to play tight.
Or he doesn't have time to throw it down the field.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well, he does.
Oh, you blame your offensive line?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Maybe this will make them better. I don't know.
Oh,
maybe they'll hold on for a half second.
So now receivers will make it offensive linemen better, huh?
Maybe. I don't know. So
You're
now,
holding out hope.
I'm holding out hope because I'm going to be objective about this. To your point, I brought these stats up last week, and I'm going to say them again. Complete objectivity that Amari Cooper, since he's been in the league 3+ years, he's tied for the lead in drops in the National Football League. Why is that? Because I think the focus comes and goes.
It does.
The intensity comes and goes.
But
the want to.
But Skip, that's what's so.
All right.
The dude played at Alabama.
Okay.
You focus every single practice, every single game at Alabama. Ain't no ups and downs.
No. And furthermore, in those 3+ years, Amari Cooper ranks 210th in the National Football League in percentage of targets caught. So he's getting a lot of throws that he doesn't catch.
Right.
Is that somewhat on Derek Carr? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe he's just wild high, wild low, because we've seen him be that way.
Yeah,
right?
but I haven't. I mean, he had that great season, Skip, but I was like, you know what? I want to hold out. I was never really bought in like a lot of people were on Derek Carr. And you hear the whispers that Coach Gruden might be willing to move on. Without him, he has 3 first-round picks. Maybe he packaged that if there was a quarterback that he's like. But he's going to be in position to get him. And so he might not have to package anything. So he's going to have a top 5 pick. So he's going to be in position to pretty much get whomever he wants. But this is sad. I feel bad for the Raiders. Because if you knew you was going to move on from these guys, why not keep Khalil Mack? I mean, Skip, $100 million?
okay? I'm going to say this about Khalil Mack. Jon Gruden, I'm pretty sure, puts him in the same category with Amari Cooper because, trust me on this, Khalil Mack's effort can come and go where he'll disappear occasionally when you least expect it. And I told you a couple of years ago, because I picked him on the show, our first year on the show, I would root for the Raiders, and I'd say, come on, Khalil, take the game over. And he would just kind of be not part of the fray at the end of the game. And where did he go? And now he's had a couple of down games for the Bears. That's why Jon Gruden said, I don't love his motor. He doesn't have like an Ndamukong Suh kind of motor, even though Suh's takes him over the edge occasionally. He doesn't have high motor. Amari Cooper's not high motor.
But the thing when you're dealing with pass rushers like a Mack, Skip, is that they're not going to get a sack a game because if they did, they'd be the greatest sack person, the greatest defensive player ever. You're not going to get a sack a game. Look at Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald came in the game with 4 sacks, and then he goes bonkers and he dominates a game. You watch him on Monday. You watch him. That was Thursday night against the Minnesota Vikings, and he can take over a game. There are very few guys that are Von Millers or that are Khalil Mack or Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt that can completely and physically dominate a game. Hey, go get home. 3rd and 10 or 4th and 5. We need to get off the field. That guy can single-handedly wreck shop. Well, you look at the pressure that the Raiders are generating now, it's next to nothing, Skip. And they don't have guys on the back end that can make you hold the ball or take that check one more time so they're getting time to throw the football. Do you actually think, let me ask you this, do you think Jon Gruden, when he was interviewed, I don't know if he interviewed, did he tell Mark Davis we're going to be in a rebuild?
I think Mark interviewed him, like he called him.
But
Go ahead, yeah.
You think he said, you know what, we're in a rebuild. Do you pay $10 million per year for a coach for a rebuild, or you go get a rookie head coach and pay him $2 million, $2.5 million for 4 years to do a rebuild? I'm asking you for...
I think Mark Davis told him, I'm going to give you 10 years, and you check it out, and you go whichever direction.
So he told us a lie. So Jon Gruden told us a lie, because he told me the Raiders are back. He said the Raiders are back. That's what he said. Now, if it's a lie, he told it, Jenny.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
$10 million. So now Raiders fans. So what?
Just a little spin control. That's all.
Oh,
a little early spin control.
All alternative facts.
But once he got in and started to coach Khalil Mack and coach Amari Cooper.
He didn't coach Khalil. Khalil never showed up, remember?
Okay, well, but since he was around a little bit around the team and where he started to glean information, I think he decided that's not my kind of guy and that receiver is not my kind of guy. And if I can get 2 firsts for the pass rusher and a first for the receiver,
you know what?
I'm going forward. I'm going to flat out rebuild this. And now guess what he's got? He's got 5 first-rounders in the next 2 drafts. That's a lot.
But when we look at it, Skip Bayless, he's getting a lot of credit for a team that Tony Dungy built with Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks and John Lynch and Rondé Barber.
Yep.
That was Tony Dungy. That wasn't. What did he put in place in Tampa?
Okay, but he did put something in place in Oakland that was pretty special because you guys ended their run in the AFC Championship game, which was at their house, in their building,
but
right?
You know what, Skip? Those were a lot of veteran players.
Okay, but your team was one of the greatest teams ever. Seriously.
We had one of the greatest defenses.
Well, I'm just saying, but as a football team, that was a hard team to beat.
Yeah, we were physical.
You just crushed people.
Yeah, we're a physical team. Yeah,
they were very physical football team. And remember, it took the tuck rule, which I said, the Patriots got a huge break. That was the worst call I think I've ever witnessed live at a game.
It was worse than the one on Sunday?
No, well, I mean, this changed fate. This changed history. This sent a dynasty.
Well, that might have changed fate on Sunday with the ball moving.
It's just starting in the NFC East because we got Amari, so we're good.
Reset.
Here we go.
Amari. That's what you're going to be saying.
That's Amari.
So every time he catches the touchdown, you'll be like, Amari. No, you won't say that much.
We're not used to hearing Amari.
It's not going to happen,
from
Skip.
over here.
So I don't mind what Jon Gruden did because we're the beneficiary.
I want you to have that same energy. That's how you came out here today and how you the Cowboys retraded. I want you to have that same energy for in 2 weeks. In 3 weeks, I want you to have that same fire, that same fervor. When I come out here, I want to hear nothing.
What did I tell you yesterday? The NFC East hasn't even started yet.
That same energy. I want you to have that same. Ooh, you got that energy.
And all of a sudden, today in the Eagles locker room, the Redskins locker room, they're looking around saying, God, they got Amari.
I mean, I'm looking at you. Look like you took. I'm looking at you right now like you took 5-hour energy in Red Bull. You got the energy. I mean, you perked up. I want you to have that same energy in 2 weeks. Okay.
I was actually energized by the end of the Spurs and Lakers.
I bet you. You a hater. You gonna do this? Are you gonna be like this forever?
Forever?
Probably.
Yeah. Are you going to be like this for perpetuity?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I don't know what you were expecting, Shannon.
I mean, come on, Skip.
You know what you're going to get.
That's all right.
Jenny, let's go to the next.
No, we ain't going to the next guy. We got to go.
Well, you know what? We're going to get used to hearing Amari's name. And then LeBron was the hero to get to overtime, but then does he deserve the blame for the Lakers' loss last night? Skip has plenty to say. Let's see what Shannon says next.
No mercy.
LeBron and the Lakers are still looking for their first win of the season. Last night against the Spurs, LeBron hit the game-tying three in the closing seconds to send the game to overtime. With the Lakers up 1 and 12 seconds left in overtime, LeBron missed both free throws after the Spurs took the lead. He had a chance to be the hero, but LeBron missed a jumper at the buzzer. The loss dropped the Lakers to 0-3, and after the game, LeBron talked about his missed free throws.
We're going to continue to get better. I like the direction we're going in. Obviously, it's not resulting in wins right now, but it's such a long process. But, we had our chances. I mean, it was up 6 with a minute to go, or less than a minute to go, and just couldn't get a stop. And, we had a turnover in that minute, and Rudy hit a big shot, put him down 1. I missed 2, free throws, which is unacceptable. And then they made a shot, and I missed a shot.
Okay, Shannon, what was your takeaway from the game last night?
I had to go downstairs to get my medicine because I can't deal with you, Skip.
Really?
I got to take my.
What is that?
It's relaxation.
No, it
Yeah.
is. It is.
It's relaxation.
Relaxation?
Yeah.
Where did you get it?
Don't worry about it because I knew
I have
This
no
is a
idea
black
where you
market
find
thing.
that.
I knew I had to deal with you today, so I couldn't.
It was too much?
Yeah. I ain't need the gummies.
First 10 minutes? Okay.
Wow, what's this got in it? Ooh.
Don't worry about it. It got what did I need to deal with you today.
This is
Because I know you was going to come with some bullshit with LeBron.
If you're still playing, you'd test positive. Yeah.
Skip is a disappointing loss. I mean, LeBron didn't get off to the greatest of start. He couldn't hit a shot early and a lot of them was bunnies. Yeah, he missed some outside shots, but a lot of them was right at the rim. And so he was frustrated, only had 4 points. But then they kind of got going. Kuzma kept him close all.
He did.
Kuzma was unbelievable
He was
last
unbelievable.
night. Josh Hart was unbelievable last night. And you fight and you claw and you scratch and you get your way back into the game. And then you get a stop, and then LeBron. I told you, didn't I tell you he be practicing those threes, the one he put on his IG? See, he practiced that. He practiced shots like that. He just walks up into it. Held a hand up. That was the pull. That thing was so pretty. I was like, oh, we got him. I said, we going to overtime, but we got this. And I'm already working on my material on what I'm going to say to you, Skip, because I'm starting putting pen to pad right now. So I'm doing that. I was like, okay, I'm going to say this right here. What you got to say about that? Boom. I'm like, all this playing out. And then now we're up. LeBron gets the and one with like 55 seconds. We're up 6. I'm like, we got this.
Whoops. Restaurant stayed open late, but not for LeBron.
What happened was I started counting the money, and the gamblers will know what I'm talking about. I burnt the money, Skip. I touched the money. Because I'm already thinking about what I'm going to say to you, and I should have just let my mind be at peace.
Sure.
Game ends, we win. Now I got time to write this down. But that didn't happen, Skip. Yes, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed in the way LeBron performed at the end of the game. A lot of this, we talk about those 2 missed free throws. We talk about the missed shot. Okay, I can live with that. I'm talking about how he let Rudy Gay walk into a top of the key 3. You can't do that. You make him go. You don't give up that shot. And I get it. No, but Rudy Gay, you can't let him have that kind of distance because that's the only way they get back into it. You make him claw. Down 8 with a minute and something left in the ball game. You get to overtime and you're up 6 with under a minute to go. You got to win that one, especially with that guy on your team, a young team, inexperienced team. I can see them, but LeBron can't let them lose this ball game. So I'm very disappointed in the performance last night. I think I might be as disappointed in LeBron's performance as I've been in a very, very long time, and that's saying something. But I'm very disappointed in how
That's big of you to admit that. It took a while for you to get there, but you got there.
No, Skip. You can't miss those. Not in that. You want the ball in that moment. I want him to have the ball in that moment. And I know a lot of things going through his mind on that last shot. Because if he takes one more dribble and the guy comes, he passes it to Josh Hart. Josh Hart misses the shot. LeBron, you had just hit a clutch 3. Why didn't you take the shot? So he's always in an unattainable situation. There's nothing he can do that's right unless he takes the shot, makes the shot. Other than that, it's wrong because if somebody else takes the shot, makes the shot, they bailed him out. Somebody else takes the shot, misses the shot, LeBron ran from the pressure. So he can't win for losing, but I'm very disappointed because he's supposed to close the deal. He had the ball in his hands on 2 occasions, and he didn't deliver us.
That's 3 games. He hasn't closed the deal.
There's
a little trend going on.
We're talking about the Spurs.
Okay. We are talking about the Spurs, and I'm glad you brought that out because last night, your man LeBron James did not have Ray Allen to save him against my Spurs the way he did in Game 6 back in 2013. Kuzma, yeah. Kuzma almost saved him. I got to tell you, Kobe would have made those free throws last night.
No, Kobe missed some free throws.
No, but he would have made those. He would have stepped right up there and iced both of them. Iced my Spurs.
We can't definitively say one way or another.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, your man LeBron James giveth and he taketh away, if I can go biblical. I'll put him up on that platform because you're always saying he was like immaculate conception back in, what was it, December 30th, 1984?
Yeah.
So let's put him up there.
Oh, really?
But he giveth and he taketh because he gaveth at the end of regulation. That was some shot that he made. That was a bomb.
14 fourth quarter point.
And again, it's funny because he saved them at the end of regulation. My Spurs should have won because the Spurs were up, what was it? 6 with 36 seconds left in regulation, and both Kuzma and then LeBron hit those bombs, and all of a sudden we're going to overtime. But I must point out to you that before that bomb was hit on a miss by Bryn Forbes at the other end, LeBron, I think he got raked across the eye, I'm not sure, but he looked quickly up as they got the rebound and went, timeout. And I don't know if the ref saw it and gave him a break because the Lakers didn't have any timeouts. And if somebody had blown the whistle at that point, the Spurs would have been shooting a free throw and gotten the ball. And I think the game would have been over just off that timeout, right? Yeah. It was a Chris Webber moment, but the refs looked the other way.
David Black
or they didn't
moment.
see it. Or David Black. Okay, that's true. I'll give you that one. So then to LeBron's credit, but it's always better for him when he feels like he got poked in the eye.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well, and it's like, okay, the pressure's off. I'm just going to go down. I'm just going to shoot this. And he shot it with conviction from like 30 feet and just ripped it. Yeah. Overtime. And I'm just sitting back saying, what? What just happened? My team was up 6. It was like Game 6. Remember when they were up 5 with 18.5 seconds left. So then we go to overtime. And the funny thing about overtime is, the Lakers should have won in overtime because they're up 6 with 55.6 seconds left. And then to your point, the Rudy Gay play is a really bad play on LeBron's part, but that's been the guy over the last 2 years. Defense is his afterthought. Well, you got to get out and at least get a hand up. But you know, LeBron, he just plays in the lane. He's back in the lane. He's back in the lane. And Rudy Gay just pops out, and LeBron doesn't even really get a hand in his face. And I know it's really early, but so far and through 3 games, LeBron is tied for 338th in individual defensive win shares. And I told you going in, he just doesn't play. That's not his focus anymore. He focuses on the offensive end. He talks a good game. He calls out a lot of good signals on defense, but he mostly watches the other guys run after 3-point shooters. So now you got a problem because he runs for the basketball, to his credit, and he gets fouled. And what has LeBron been? I've been saying this for 15 years on national TV, since his second year in the league. LeBron is a late-game liability at the free throw line. And I don't get it because he is obviously one of the all-time greatest players. But the reason I can't give you better than Jordan is because of this. It's the fatal flaw is that I started saying in his second year, he's running from the free throw line because he doesn't trust himself late in games at the free throw line. He doesn't have a real pure stroke with it. And it was just like right on cue, he misses both of them. So then what happens? Go down the other end. Yeah. Is Patty Mills clutch or what? Whew, you want to talk about clutch? Patty Mills has made so many big shots for the Spurs. He's only like 5'11".
And you see what Coach Pop did?
Yeah, called a play.
He called a play. He said, LaMarcus, you and Patty have been together for the longest. I'm going to trust you guys.
Yep, and he trusted him, and Patty came right off the screen and lost Lonzo off the hip of LaMarcus, and Patty went straight up and shot that jumper and ripped it. So now we're going to come to the other end, and here we go again. So the reason, like for years, I've been just beating the drum over here for this. LeBron James, I'm going to say it again, he proved it again last night, time and time again. He is the most unstoppable driver of the basketball we have ever seen. He would just bully the Spurs half the time last night. He just power down the lane, bounce guys off with his shoulders, and just lay it in. Or even if he needed one quick pump fake, because the Spurs are like the tallest team in basketball, he's still going to get to the rim.
Right.
And so in that late game situation, down 1, you don't really need to shoot a 3. you need to get to the basket, right? So do I expect him to drive the basketball on Rudy Gay, who's just he's an okay defender, but LeBron can just bully him anytime he wants, and he can take him, especially going left off the dribble. And the help defender on that side is Bryn Forbes, who's a willowy 6 feet 3 inches tall, unsigned out of high school. Nobody recruited him, then undrafted. He's just a guy.
Right.
He's a good shooter, but he's not a great defender. So could LeBron have gotten to the rim? Sure, he could have gotten to the rim. But you know what could have been the result of that? You might have to go stand at the free throw line and make one of two just to go to overtime. And Shannon, he just doesn't have it in him, so he's going to opt for the fall-away three. He shoots kind of a fall-away, fade-away three.
That's a shot. He likes to step to his left.
We saw him doing the bomb in practice that he made.
Yeah.
Now, that was that was like 5 feet farther than that.
That was almost falling out of bounds.
That was almost falling out of bounds. But he takes that shot. Would Kuzma have had a better shot? Would Josh Hart have had a better? I don't care. I want LeBron to shoot that. I'm fine with it. He missed it. On those kinds of going to his left in his career, he's been about a 32% three-point shooter from that side. I don't know. He's just okay. But am I surprised he missed it? No, I'm not. Am I surprised he didn't go to the free throw line? I'm definitely not surprised with that.
But still, my concerns is their defense, Skip, and their ability to hit open shots. They're giving up 41% from the three-point line. And again, think about this. Now, you said on opening night, they scored 70 points in the paint. The most anybody had scored the previous year was 68.
68.
Well, they did one better. They went 74 last night.
I mean, it took overtime, but they went 74.
Wow.
I agree. That's spectacular.
But it just goes to show you, no matter how many points you score in the paint, if you don't stop the other team from shooting a high percentage from three, that's why everybody wants to shoot the three ball now, Skip. Because think about it. They're scoring 70 points in the paint, and they're still losing because they're giving up such a high percentage from the three-point line. Teams will take, okay, we'll trade you 3 for 2 all day long, every day, and twice on Mondays and Sundays. And that's what the Lakers are going to have to guard against. They're going to have to start shooting. Lonzo hit some big threes. Kuzma hit some big threes. But you can't let a team shoot. Skip, they shot 15 to 29.
28.
15 to 28. You're going to lose.
54%.
You're going to lose. You're going to lose those.
Plus, they shot 38 free throws to 26 for the Lakers, and Luke and both LeBron, they were both upset about the free throws. I'm not sure that was such a big deal.
I don't think so either, but the problem that they have, Skip, is that when JaVale gets in foul trouble, they become a really small team, and they get pounded on the board. LaMarcus Aldridge is a load. And so they really have nobody to match up with him because Skip, they'll let Coach Pop in that situation, he'll let LaMarcus. He's like, okay, forget ball movement. Back him down. 1, 2, 3. He's going to turn over either shoulder. He's going to get an easy shot at the basket, or you're going to foul him. And that's what happens. When they put this team together, I'm like, I still don't know how and why they put it together like this. I understand they got toughness. I understand they got veteran leadership. But it really doesn't work for what LeBron does really well, which is drive and kick. And another thing, Skip, and you saw this on several occasions last night, Lonzo Ball's got to finish the ball at the rim. He goes to the rim with the intent to pass.
He does every time.
He's not even looking. I mean, bro, you got to finish that.
He grew up that way. That's who he is. And I would agree with you. At 6 feet 7 inches tall, often guarded by a smaller man, you need to finish high at the rim because he can dunk it. He can lay it in.
It's almost like he's afraid because they gave him some great passes last night, headed down the hill. And what does he do? He gets there like, no, let me find somebody to kick to. Come on, bro. We need you to finish those.
His stroke looks a lot better. From distance. He's shooting with much more conviction and trust.
He played well.
So the shock of the overtime for me was that somebody named Jonathan Williams for the Lakers, I didn't even know he was a Laker, just took over the overtime. He had 3 blocks and 4 points, and I kept saying, who is that guy? He's on a 2-way contract with the South Bay Lakers, G League. So he was sensational in the overtime. And the other shock to me was that after Kyle Kuzma just lit up the Spurs for 4 quarters, he took 1 shot and missed it in overtime. And I couldn't get that because, well, this guy, does he have no conscience at all? Like if he touches the ball, does it go up?
Yeah, what about your boy Fee? You've been campaigning for him.
Well, he didn't even get any shots up.
Yeah, he did. He got 2 of them up and missed badly.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's the first time he's even gotten on the floor.
There's a reason.
Trust me, in a game of horse, he would beat
No, we ain't playing horse, man. We playing NBA basketball.
Well, I'm just telling you, he can shoot
this ain't no trick shot.
Maybe LeBron should run some plays for him. Get him open. I told you he couldn't play any defense. He's a liability.
No, I'm talking about he doesn't look like he can shoot either. But what LeBron do in overtime?
He was just okay until the end.
No,
All I
no.
know is he went 0 for 2 from the free throw line at the end. That's all that matters.
See what's good. Why you do that?
Well, it's just who he is. How do you explain that? Seriously,
Explain
I keep
what?
waiting for that glitch in him, that one fatal flaw. How do you explain that? Where did it start?
He had
Where you
5
don't
points.
trust yourself from the free throw line. You won't even deal with it
Chris,
because you just block it
But
out.
Skip, you asking me you asking me what's in his mind and what's in his psyche. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I still want him with the ball in his hands
Mm-hmm.
because I know he's going to make the right play. He's going to make the shot, or he's going to make the right pass. He went to the free throw line, Skip, and he didn't get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen others do that, just like Tom. Tom had the ball in his hand in the Super Bowl. He didn't get the job done. I don't beat him up for it.
So since the start of last season, LeBron is 10 of 21 on free throws in the final 15 seconds of fourth quarter or overtimes. And of the 15 players who qualify with 10 or more attempts, he's, of course, dead last. That's 49%.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. Skip, unlike you, I don't make excuses for LeBron like you make excuses for Brady. You blame the offensive line or you blame undrafted receivers. LeBron did not deliver us from evil last night. That's on him. He's going to wear it.
Well, Tom Brady doesn't choke in the last minute of games. He just doesn't. I don't need an excuse because he doesn't
Super Bowl.
require one.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Somebody lost that game.
Yeah.
Now, who was that?
Well, how about 505?
Okay, what about 32, 14, and 8?
Yeah. No, it was good.
Okay,
It was
then.
good.
So,
And
but
you know, what's crazy is he got off to a really slow start and then he stuffed the stat sheet like that.
oh, see, you said what you Skip,
Well,
why
he
would you
did.
do that?
Well, in the first quarter, I thought they were going to get blown out because the Spurs were like crazy hot.
They were ridiculous.
And
But,
Kuzma saved them with 19 in the first
Yeah.
half.
but yeah, they were hot, but you got to guard somebody. I mean,
You
they
gotta
were-
guard
they-
somebody.
They were shooting 91% from the
I
floor.
told you before the year, I just don't think they're going to have to outscore teams. But the good news is, in all 3 games, they were in position to win.
Skip,
They were.
what we see in this NBA now,
Yeah.
everybody can go get 130. At some point in time, it comes down to getting 1, 2, or 3 stops
Yeah.
at the end of a ball game or overtime in
You're
order
right.
for you to win.
I mean,
'Cause everybody can score.
unless you make your last 3 shots, and they didn't.
Right.
And that was the difference.
And the one turnover. You had a turnover. You had an opportunity. You come away with the end possession. They go down the court. They get a score. And the next thing you know, it's an entirely different ball game. But
They're back in action Wednesday against the Suns.
I'll
and
say this,
Thursday.
Jenny, they're fun to watch, man.
I know.
But I don't do no
Talking
fun.
about a winless Lakers.
Okay, Philadelphia Eagles. Winning is fun. We don't do fun to watch. We're trying to win ball games, Skip. But see, you know what?
It's still,
out.
you're out.
All I know is
don't need any more.
LeBron's been sitting out on the curb outside Shannon's restaurant every night saying, "Can I come in?" Nope.
Wait.
I bet he won't be there tomorrow.
Nope.
I bet I won't stay open late tomorrow for him.
Let's hope so. We're going to have something else to talk about.
And we got the Nuggets, too, on Thursday. You want some of that? Put some dew
Yeah,
on
but
that.
they're undefeated right
Put
now.
some dew on that.
Right. Where is that game?
It's in Staples.
Is it? I
Yeah.
don't know. They should win in state.
Man, you see the Nuggets
I did.
with
They're
Jokic.
good.
Oh.
Only man since whip to go perfect from the field on the triple double.
I'll think about it.
No mercy.
The Giants and Falcons were both desperate for a win last night and came down to some crucial coaching decisions. The Giants scored a touchdown with under 5 minutes left in the fourth to cut the lead to 8. Pat Shurmur then decided to go for 2 instead of kicking the extra point, but Odell dropped the ball in the end zone. The Giants were still down by 8. They would score another touchdown in the closing seconds, but lost 23-20, and they're now 1-6. Here's Shurmur on why he chose to go for 2.
I'm sure you'll have some questions about the 2-point play. I just felt like, and we've discussed, internally the math on that. I felt like we had a good play. And I liked our 2-point play selections, and we just didn't quite get it done. But at the end there, you saw, had they not kicked the field goal, I felt good about our second 2-point play, which we scored on at the end. So, I felt like I wanted to be aggressive for our guys. You increase your chances by 50% if you go for it and make it there. So that's what you do. Because then if we score a touchdown, we just kick the extra point and win.
All right, Shannon, do you agree with the decision to go for 2? I was curious.
That's awful presumptuous of him. Skip, I didn't like the call, but I understand his reasonings. But if you look at it, you're under the impression that your offense is going to get the ball into the end zone on a 2-point play. Have you watched your offense this year, Pat Shurmur? Maybe you see something different. Maybe because you're closer to it, you see something different than what I watch on television.
Yeah.
Because when I watch it now, if that's Kansas City, If that's the Saints, that's the Rams, the
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Skip, I got no problem with that.
True.
Maybe the second 2-point play should have been your first 2-point play. So you got a 235-pound back with great acceleration. You don't give him the ball. You put it in Eli. And Pat, let me make a recommendation. When Eli has the ball in his hand, you cover your mouth. Because you say throw it, and you wear your emotion on your sleeves, and people see that.
We all saw that.
So you need to, Eli, throw the every ball.
Yep.
That's what he needs to
that
do,
was
Skip.
getting replayed.
Skip, okay, what about the 4th and goal from the one that you didn't get? What if you kicked the field goal there? So what's the mathematics? What you're using, what percentage, if you kick the field goal there, what was your percentage of winning the game then? I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, I watch it, okay, on 3rd and 2. They don't hand the ball to Saquon coming down the hill, granted. They swing it to him 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. 4 guys are out there. Like, they heard Pat Shermer call from the sideline. They're about to run a swing to Saquon. Let's be over there. Skip, this is ridiculous. I'm looking at some of the play calls. I'm like, I get why he did it, Skip, but under that scenario, you might as well just go for it on 4th down. Anything that's 4th and 2 or less, you might as well go for it. Because your offense, you're so inconsistent. See, he's basing it on, well, if we do this and this goes well. But if you look at the consistency of your offense, I don't know why you have confidence that you're going to be able to get in that situation when you have so much struggles moving the ball during the course of the game in all areas of the field. And then Eli, Skip, he got to make that throw to Odell. I mean, you got the safety. The safety is not.
Not the 2-point throw.
No, not the 2-point. But he had it for a touchdown.
No, he did.
You got to make that throw.
He just missed him. He just missed.
You got to make that, Skip.
It's just like a standard football throw.
Yes.
It's just like you got to make that throw.
It's a cover 2 throw. The safety doesn't want to get beat inside, so he's going to stay tight inside. Odell gives him a nice little shake. And so Eli, just put it on him.
That was a big play in the game. That could have
Yes.
swung the momentum.
Changes it.
Because the shock of the whole night to me was the score of this game was 10-6 after 3 quarters. And I couldn't believe that Atlanta only had 10. And I couldn't believe that Eli and company only had 6 against the second to worst defense in pro football.
Well, you look at the stats at the end of the night, you see why both teams are where they are.
Okay.
Eli had almost 400.
So maybe I'm going to give Pat Shermer a little break here because his son is my quarterback at Vanderbilt University. But other than that, like everyone else, when he went for 2 at 20-12, I'm just like, what? What are you doing?
Yes.
It makes no sense. Just kick the point and make it 20-13. Play the odds. Just, okay, now it's a 1-score game where you kick the next point and you tie the game. You know, you're the big underdog on the road. Okay, just play the percentages here. And yet, when I listened to him after the game, he was so forthright about it, and he was compellingly convincing that I never thought of that. He was thinking way outside a box most coaches never leave mentally, which is, wait a second, if we make it, my chances go up 50% because then all I have to do is kick the next extra point to win the game.
Yeah, but if
I know. But then the reason it's hard to completely condemn him is the play that he called and ran should have been 2 points because it hit Odell right in the hands. I know it wasn't like the easiest catch because
that was the second time around, though, Skip.
No, okay, I got it. Yeah. But my point is, you had a play that could have worked, right?
Did Odell bang his head on the sideline? Did he kick the net?
No.
Did he hit the chalkboard?
Okay, but he had 8 catches for 143. Okay, so he was happy. He got his numbers, right?
He did get numbers.
Huh?
That's not Odell. All he cares about is winning, Skip. He doesn't care about his numbers. But here's the thing. Here's what I would give Pat Shermer. If he had the Ravens defense, if he had the Cowboys defense.
Maybe.
But do you realize? So what, Skip? They're going to. Matt Ryan is finished the night 31 of 39 for 379, no interceptions. What made you think at that point, oh, you're saying like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to score 2 here. We're going to score again, and we're going to kick the PAT, and we're going to win. Okay, in the whole process of that, you know when you score, what do you have to do? Kick the ball off to the Falcons. What had you seen from your defense that made you think?
Okay. So I still appreciate the mentality, the attack mentality when you've won 1 game all year. Like, why not try something new?
But you know what, Skip? The bigger problem I have is that you went for it. You quarterback sneak twice from the 1-yard line. Okay. Do you know how much time you're going to waste with them to umpire?
I don't know. That was on Eli, too.
Right.
Like Eli, he can be as slow with his decision making as he is with his feet.
Skip, who's the second pick in the draft? Saquon. He's in the backfield. Your 2-point play, he barrels right in. Skip, turn around, hand him the ball, let him get the ball in the end zone. You go 2 plays with Eli. You wasted 35 seconds right there. Because when you don't get it, by the time you get all those bodies up off you, you get lined up again. You do it again. Tick, 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 tick. Come on, Pat Shermer. Give the ball. When have you ever known Eli to be the quarterback sneak guy? That's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's like one step, he's going over the top.
Greatest quarterback sneaker ever.
That's not a stat, but anyway, Skip. See,
He is.
You ruined everything.
No, I don't.
Yes,
you
do.
opened the door.
I'm just saying, I don't believe they should have run that play on trying to get the ball into the end zone. If you want to go for 2, but there's a lot of things you have to also factor in. Factor in how your defense is playing. Factor in how your offense has looked up until this point. You make it seem like Kansas City, because they're going up and down the field. Minnesota has a high-powered offense. New England has a high-powered offense. The Rams. Skip, that's not what you are. Eli's been inconsistent at best. It's hard for me to judge him last night. Yeah, he threw for almost 400, but he's going against the Falcons, who has the worst. They're actually worse than Kansas City defensively.
Well, now they are. Yeah.
So I don't really know how to judge what Eli actually did. I know he had some opportunities to get more yardage than what he should have left that game with at least 500 yards.
So, to Saquon, and I'm going to say what I've said all along about him. The one place I differ with you on is I don't think you can trust running him between the tackles because he is not an every down banger type of back who can establish the run for you and get what's that?
Behind that offensive line? You seen his offensive line?
Okay, but I'm just saying I do this every game. He'll have one big run a game, and if I subtract the one big run, I always tell you I can do it every game they've played, but even off last night, he had one 15-yard run. If I take that away, on his other 13 carries, he had 28 total yards running the football. That's 2.2 a carry. He's going to have a lot of nuns and -1s because that's who he is.
But look at that offensive line. Look at Nate Solder.
Well, Nate Solder was the left tackle on the market, right?
But you know why he looked so good? Tom Brady's getting the ball out in under 2.5 seconds. Okay. That's not the Giants' offense, so Eli has to hold it. So that means he has to hold up a little. Skip, he looks garbage. You know that, I know that. I mean, McKinley just running by him left and right. Guys are bullying him. Guys are ripping him. Guys are dipping on him. I mean, he looks bad, Skip. That explains why. That's why Coach Belichick like, nah, we good.
So Saquon, if I subtract the one big catch he had last night, which went for a grand total of 14 yards, that leaves him 8 catches for 37 yards. That's only 4.6 yards a catch. That's not game-breaking. That's not life-changing.
Skip, they're throwing him the ball 4 and 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
But you just told me he's going against the worst defense in pro football, and that's all you can give me? So he's like the NFL version of the home run hitter, where he's going to hit you some home runs and he's going to lead the league in strikeouts because he's going to strike out a lot at the line of scrimmage.
But you need to push the ball down the field. Look at what Fitz did. Look at what other teams have done to this defense. Push the ball down the field. Why are you trying to dilly-dally with the back when you got Odell way over 100? You got Shepard way over 100. Why are you dilly-dallying and throwing the swing passes? Push the ball down the field.
I don't know if he has the arm to push it with anymore. I don't see much velocity.
Well, he's never been that guy, but he's always been more Greg Maddux. But Greg Maddux was good hitting the spots, but he couldn't drop to 75 and hit those spots. It still had to be in the mid-80s.
Well, now Eli's throwing some curveballs, too.
Man, you see those things fluttering?
Oof.
That thing was indoors with no wind, no cold, and that thing just fluttered. I was like, ooh.
That's why Odell Beckham Jr. is a ticking time bomb as we speak, because how can you blame him? He's stuck with this.
No, he ain't stuck with it. Nah, he ain't stuck with it. He wanted his money. You know what Eli was. He sees Eli every day in practice for the last 3 to 4 years. So this is not a surprise that Eli looks like this.
No,
that's what he signed up for.
You know, we're going to talk more about Eli next. But first, will a Super Bowl contender make a big trade for Patrick Peterson? We'll discuss where possibly next.
No mercy.
All right, 7-time Pro Bowl cornerback Patrick Peterson reportedly wants out of Arizona. He has asked for a trade, and the Saints, Eagles, and Patriots are reportedly showing interest, with New Orleans being the, quote, ideal situation. But as coach Steve Wilks said yesterday, quote, we're not trading Patrick. That's out of the question. The trade deadline is a week from today. Shannon, which team will bid the most for Peterson?
Well, given the history, Skip, it seems like Philly will spare no expense. That's how they got Carson Wentz. They mortgaged a lot to get him.
Yeah.
Now, they were able to recoup some of that with the Sam Bradford, with their quarterback getting hurt in Minnesota.
They did.
Teddy Bridgewater, so they're able to recoup one of those first-round picks back when they traded Sam Bradford to Minnesota. So we know they'll spend money. They traded for Jay Ajayi during the season. So Howie Roseman has no problem giving up draft picks. Now, the Saints, looking at this, the Saints does not have a first-round pick.
Yep.
So that makes, going to get things very interesting. The Patriots, not only do they have a first-round pick, they have 2 2s and 3 3s.
They do.
So they have ammunition, but Coach Belichick is very, very hesitant to give up that ammunition. I mean, he gave him a 5th rounder for Josh Gordon, but he got some compensation coming back. So Pat Peterson's from Florida, played at LSU, played in Arizona. He's 8 years in. Does he want to go? I know, hey, great chance to win in New England. But is he going to want to practice in that cold? Does he want to play in that cold November, December, and January? Interesting. New Orleans played his college ball in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, right down the street. Indoors. Carolina, Tampa. Weather's nice. They got a great, great chance. If I'm New Orleans, once I find out what the market is, and if it's within my reach, I'm going to do the deal. Because let me tell you why, Skip. The 2 teams that could cause me the most problems, Minnesota, they have Adam Thielen, they have Stephon Diggs.
They do.
The Los Angeles Rams, they have Cooper Kupp, they have Brandon Cooks. So you got Lattimore. Robert Woods. You got Lattimore. You need to pair him somebody on the opposite of him so you can try and help neutralize.
That's true.
So I think all things being equal, Philly would make the biggest offer. But if I'm New Orleans, whatever it's going to take within reason, I'm going to do this deal because I'm going for it right now. I'm going for it right now.
Like what you said. Don't see it happening. I'm going to say it again. I live in fear of the next bulletin out of Philadelphia thanks to Howie Roseman. Because Howie Roseman has dominated pro football for the last really 3 years in building that Super Bowl champion last year. He knows exactly what the Dallas Cowboy brass knew 24 hours ago. This division is just begging for somebody to take hold of it and run off with it. And now he needs to make an anti-Amari move, and the classic one would be to trump the Amari move by going and getting a young man. He's still a young man at 28.
Just turned 28 this summer.
Turned 28. 7 years, 7 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros. I love this young man. I respect him. I got to know him a little bit at the other network. He's class and quality, and he is a football player. He can play at the highest level. The bigger the game, the more he's going to rise and shine.
And he can return punts.
He can, if you ask him to, and the team needs him to, he is highly capable. He only ran 4.3 at the combine, 4.34, 6'1", 203. He's in that, again, there's only one Deion Sanders, and then the next slight echelon down is Darrelle Revis, but he's getting in that Revis territory to me. That's how good he is when he really cares about something, and it's been hard for him over the years in Arizona to really care.
Yeah, it's hard for a guy of that caliber to stay for a rebuild. I kind of feel bad for Larry Fitzgerald also because he's a guy that's been there for an extremely long time. And they're not going to win this year, and I don't believe they're going to win for the very foreseeable future. But I don't know if Fitz, that doesn't strike me as Fitz saying, I want out, I'm here. Larry Fitz, it's a different situation with Pat Peterson. I think Pat really wanted to stay in Arizona, but he wants to win. And he knows he will be judged differently if he were to get on a winning team. I think we would look at Deion differently had he spent his entire career in Atlanta as opposed to going to San Fran, winning the title, going to Dallas, because wherever he went, he swung the pendulum. You got him, you won the Super Bowl. Because he took the best receiver on the other side and says, okay, y'all go play football, I got this guy.
So I fully expect Howie Roseman to pull this off because he's got an extra 2 to play with.
You upset now.
No, I am. I just see it coming. I'm going to head it off the pass. I'm going to just predict it.
Howie T about to do this deal. Well, come on, Howie T.
Howie T and Dougie P.
Dougie
P's coming apart. He's losing it. Howie needs to go save his coach.
What about your guy going on fourth down after his owner goaded him into it.
Please.
Goaded him.
My guy's Tom Brady.
No.
And my guy, Tom Brady, he needs this guy, Patrick Peterson, more than anybody out there because his defense is deplorable. It is pathetic. I'm going to say it again. Bill Belichick's defense has given up the second most second-half points of anybody in the NFL so far. That's not good.
Okay.
And again, who's out there for them? You were talking about Adam Thielen and all the Rams receivers. How about the Kansas City receivers, right? Okay. And so you got Stephon Gilmore, who was the prize of the cornerback market a year ago. So you got Gilmore, and now what? You got Eric Rowe. You got. He
doesn't even start. I don't think he starts anymore.
Jason McCourty has been starting, but he's been playing. Eric Rowe plays the slot corner. But my point is, you don't have the other guy opposite him. And if you had Patrick Peterson, you could go to Kansas City where they just might have to go with Patrick Peterson and Stephon Gilmore. Would you have maybe a chance to hang in? Right?
And Peterson's contract is really, really friendly.
It's
he's under
good.
contract through 2020.
Yeah.
So that's and it's not big. It's not overwhelming.
It's 11-9 next year and 13-2 the next year.
And so that means the cap normally goes up like $10 to $12 million a year. So that's going to be chicken fees.
Okay.
But if I'm the Saints, Skip, once I find out what the market is, because here's the thing. Okay, Amari Cooper went for a first, but Amari Cooper's 24. Pat Peterson's 28. That's still, and granted, he's winning the 7 Pro Bowl, Skip, but that's still a 4-year age gap.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is he going for a 1? Is he going for 2 2s, a 2 and a 4? I mean, what's going to be the going rate?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Arizona, I'm asking for, because I really want to keep it, but I'm going to ask for as much as I possibly can.
Yep.
Because I'm in rebuild mode too. So I need to get Josh Rosen. I need to get as much help in here as I possibly can.
Yep.
So I'm going to try to fleece somebody.
Okay.
You want him? How much are you willing to pay?
Well, Howie Roseman will probably just go get him, and I will be the first to admit that would dilute some of the impact of Amari Cooper in Dallas because you know and I know what was going to happen. They're going to play twice now. They haven't played yet, and we're going to see Patrick Peterson, if it comes to this, on Amari Cooper, right? That's what you would see all game long.
Yeah, and that's what the prices go up, Skip, when more than one person is bidding on something. When I was in Baltimore, Skip, I was selling my house. And I asked for this astronomical price because I was on the golf course. I don't play golf, but I always wanted to live on the golf course.
Yeah.
You look out my back window, there's the green right there, people walking. So I put the house up on the market. Ladies like, you're probably not going to get it, but hey, let's just see what happens. Guess what happened? I put it up one day on a Monday. 7 people by Tuesday wanted to look at old Shannon Sharpe house.
Really?
Well, since I put up a
maybe it was because it was your house.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
whatever it was, I said I want an extra 15 grand.
Oh, really?
And guess what they said? Cash us out. I'll be out of here tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's why you're living up on the hillside in Bel Air.
Not the hillside. I'm down a little in the ravine in Humby.
Oh, Holmby Hills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop telling everybody where I live.
Nobody's going to go to your house. There are a bunch of houses at Holmby
I'm
Hills.
moving.
You're moving?
I'm going to Malibu. I'm
please.
about to be booed up in Malibu.
Nobody cares.
It's too long of a drive. You don't want to be in Malibu.
But it's so nice overlooking the oceans.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So at 3:30, you want to drive all the way
No.
up to Malibu?
Okay, I'll stay where I am.
Okay, I think you should stay put.
But the ocean, can you imagine, Skip?
Yeah.
The waves just
Sounds great. Different
the
budgets for us,
Yeah.
but
What if
maybe
I go up in
someday.
What if I go up in the hills? That house, remember the house we saw in the Hollywood Hills?
I'd live there.
Yeah, I bet you.
Yeah,
I bet
I
you.
would.
I don't know
I
if you
would.
guys could
I wouldn't like to
coexist.
drive down
No.
the mountain.
You would like to drive that, but that was unbelievable.
Ugh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Healy, wet. I need a raise, a little one.
New house
I think
coming
it's
for
a
both
big
these
one.
guys.
Never mind. I'm about to win this $1.6 billion. Keep your money. I'm doing
Oh,
it
okay.
for free.
Yeah, me too. I think
I'm doing it
doing
for free.
Did you buy your ticket yet?
No, I don't do that. Ernestine
Come
does.
on, it's
I'm doing
worth it.
Skip, I already got you a nice gift. I'm gonna buy you a nice gift. Yeah.
Oh, you already thought of it.
Yeah.
But you're not going
I'm gonna win this money. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get you a nice Z.
Okay.
I'm gonna get me one too.
Really?
We'll race every morning coming to work.
Really?
Yeah, we see who the better driver is.
Oh, wow.
I'll take one too.
Yeah.
I got me some of that.
Skip already feels like he won the lottery because the Cowboys now have Amari Cooper. We'll discuss that with James Harrison next.
No mercy.
And back to the Cowboys. They made a huge trade yesterday, acquiring Amari Cooper from the Raiders for a first-round pick. Right now, the Dallas offense is 26th in scoring, 29th in passing. Cooper is a 2-time Pro Bowler, but he only has 22 catches, 1 touchdown this season. We are joined by Super Bowl champ James Harrison. Thanks for joining us again today. All right, big news for Skip, but I want your take. How much better are the Cowboys with Cooper?
I think they're far better with him than without him. I think it brings back the dynamic that they had when Dez was there, the previous couple of years. It gives them a deep threat, somebody that can open the field, but not only that, you get those stacked boxes away from, Ezekiel.
Yep.
It gives them an opportunity to be able to run the ball more efficient. And when they do stack the box, it gives you a chance to go over the top. So I believe it makes them a lot better with him.
I agree. He's the only guy that they have. Skip. We've seen him before take over game for the Raiders. Now the problem the reason why the Raiders are moving on is the consistency issue. Maybe a change of scenery, change of venue. Maybe that's going to do everybody some good. The Raiders seem to be happy with getting a first-round pick. I believe the Cowboys are going to be happy to get what they believe is a number one receiver. And as James was saying, is that what he allows you to do is that you have to pay extra attention to him. He's a guy, he commands respect. Yeah, he's inconsistent, but he still was the 4th pick in the draft. He's still a 2-time Pro Bowl player. So that's still in his resume, and he's still 24 years of age.
Yep.
And he's substantially better than any other receiver you got. No other receiver will come or command the respect that he does.
Yep.
So now, all of a sudden, you want to play, 8 guys in the box and try to shut down Zeke. You want your corner to go one-on-one? Because, Skip, it doesn't matter. We could play one-on-one across the board with these guys. The only guy I feared that was going to beat me, especially with something quick, would be Cole Beasley. The other guys don't put fear. You got to have, at some point in time, offense, and the guys outside must put fear in the defense's heart. And I'm afraid right now there's one guy that really puts fear in their heart, and that's Zeke. Well, you can't throw the ball to Zeke every play, and you can't run him every play. You have to be able to throw to your tight end and your wide receivers outside. This guy will command respect. He'll be respected, and I think he makes them a better football team. Now, your guy that every time we come out here, we do a story, you give him an A or you give him a B, no matter what. He flunked all the tests.
As opposed to giving him an F or a D.
I gave him a D.
D?
Yeah.
You gave him an F for last year.
Yeah.
He had the 4th best QBR and went 9-7. You gave him an F?
And he also lost
F?
And he also lost 4 more games than he did the year before.
Oh.
With 9 more interceptions.
Little
I don't really know what you want me to do.
Huh.
I don't grade on the curve. I give you what you get. You
give me hate.
No,
Straight hate.
what you do is this guy makes a 20, you give him a 75.
Oh, okay.
Good teacher.
So, how much better does Amari Cooper? That's Amari. How much better does he make my Dallas Cowboys? He makes them good enough to win the NFC East, which isn't very good this year, but they're going to go win it with Amari Cooper. Do I love him in a vacuum in and of himself? I do not love him. Does he have this flaw and that flaw and this negative and that? Yes, he does. Has in his time in the league, is he tied for the most drops in pro football? Yes, he is. And we were seeing the video of him dropping balls just as Jenny was reading the lead to this story. Is he 210th over his time in the league in targets not caught, percentage of targets not caught? He is. So his productivity has fallen dramatically and dangerously over the last 2 years after he made 2 Pro Bowls. But is he way better than anything I have? Yes. Like way better than anything. They tried to do it by committee, and I thought maybe they could just dink and dack and mix it up. Nope. Alan Hearns, see you later. I don't want to.
Whoa.
But he's just a
you're
guy.
over it?
I'm not saying
You
he's
done with
gone.
Hearns already?
You realize they dumped my guy Bryce Butler. He got dumped so they could open up the spot for Amari Cooper.
Man.
And so they threw him
know.
one ball
You get to
in the
put
first
Beasley
series.
in the slot now.
What's that?
You get to put Beasley in the
But
slot.
guess what, though? Guess where Amari's had his most success?
In the
He's
slot.
a slot guy. So I don't know. Can you have 2 slot receivers? Some formations you could, maybe. I don't know. They might be bumping heads over the slot.
Well, a lot of times they put Beasley in the slot on one side and
They
Kayvon
can.
on the other.
You can, but the point is, the thing about Amari is, and I was around him just for a few minutes one day, and he's a good kid. You'd like him. He's got a good heart, but he is the flip side, the complete opposite of those Cowboy great receivers, starting with Michael Irvin or Terrell Owens or Des Bryant, because he is no diva. He's not an alpha. He's not the guy who's going to demand the football or be the life of the locker room or the heartbeat of the football team. He's just not that guy. And that's why Jon Gruden didn't like him, because you don't feel intensity from him every play, every game. Like Terrell Owens, what I always loved about he just played with rage. You know how he was. Now, again, I thought he was raging for his own stats more than winning football games, but he played on the edge the whole game. So did Des Bryant before he got beat up and knocked out of the league.
You know, like a receiver that just go in there and work and get his job done?
Okay, but he's quiet to a fault. like he's I'm not saying he's soft. He's just
You just want a guy that's vocal, say anything, and
it's got some personality. He doesn't have a big personality now. He's not going to try to take over.
Personality. You need to go out there and work.
Yeah.
Get the job done.
I mean, have you ever seen a great like Jerry Rice? Still had a big personality to me. He would throw tantrums on the sideline.
Sure would and cry when he didn't get the ball, but that's
He
not
did.
here. That's not here nor there.
But you want him to throw tantrums on the sideline and cry if stuff don't go his way.
It's just
Didn't you say you didn't like that about Odell?
I do, but when you're that guy, you have a big personality because it goes with the territory, right? It just goes. Well, it just does.
Well, Keyshawn said he wanted his money back. So Jon Gruden suspended him. He had personality. He was fiery, and Jon Gruden told him to go sit down.
Yeah.
You remember that, Skip?
I do. But Amari, to your point, he is gifted now.
Yeah.
He runs sweet routes. They're like, he's a glider. He ran 4.4 at the combine. It's effortless. He's got that sort of effortless deep speed where you
Yeah, you don't realize that he's that fast until he's up on
he
you.
just went right by me. Woo.
Yeah.
So I love all that, and I do love the point when somebody gets dumped by a head coach that he doesn't really care for, then he goes to the next stop. You know how it feels, and you say, okay, watch this.
But you know what's good? Going to Alabama, there's pressure. Being the fourth pick in the draft is pressure. But here's the thing. Let me tell you what adds more pressure than both of them. Going to the Cowboys in the middle of the season, and you're thought of as being the savior.
You will be.
So now that's a whole different ball game, Skip. Yep. They're bringing you in. They're saying, you're the guy that can get us over the hump to win the NFC East. Skip Bayless says Amari Cooper will deliver the Cowboys the NFC East title.
He just said that.
No, you said that.
I just said that.
I'm saying
he.
Yeah, you did.
I'm going second person.
Okay.
I am.
Nah, okay.
It's been noted.
That's a lot of pressure on Amari for a guy that doesn't say a whole lot and bottle things in that you don't, Is he going to embrace that? Is he going to embrace what you're asking him to be? Or is he going to embrace what you're asking him to do?
If he's got a little mad on for Jon Gruden, maybe so. My quarterback is going to be on the hot seat now because you're going to be saying every
I ain't going to say nothing.
Sunday,
I ain't going to say nothing. I ain't got nothing to say.
He got the weapons now.
He's got a one. Now, he's only got, he's got a running
got a
back and
weapon.
he's got a number one.
How much you want him to have?
I need him to have a tight end.
So in other words, you want him to have Travis Kelce, AB, Julio, and Ezekiel.
I need Zach Ertz, just Zach Ertz.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
all I
well.
care.
Oh, you just want Zach Ertz.
That'd be good.
Anyone would.
Can you name one of my tight ends?
No, you said you liked him.
I have not said I like him.
You said you like Enrico.
Oh, they won't give him a chance.
He's
a basketball player.
So what you expect?
Yeah, he's a red zone target. I don't know.
Antonio Gates was a basketball player.
Gonzo was a basketball player.
I know he was.
But
Jeff Swain? Really? Blake Jarwin? What? That's all I got.
Well, I mean, they were kind of handcuffed because Jason Witten kind of left them a little late in the ball game. But they had a chance to get Goddard. Maybe they was hoping he'd fall
Guess
into
who
the lap.
snaked him for that? Howie Roseman. He went up and got him.
It's like you're an outfielder.
Dallas Goddard.
You're waiting to catch the ball, and then somebody jumps up and catches it.
I know. How would you like to have had Dallas in Dallas? Would that not have worked? Dallas he's going to be a star for them.
But, I mean, we don't know if he'd have the same kind of rapport like Walker to him because Walker to him is really accurate. Really accurate.
Except in the fourth quarter of games against Carolina at home when he was
What about
really
your guy?
not accurate.
What about your guy?
What about him?
Ofer.
Warrior. Ofer Weir.
Ofer.
On the road.
On the road.
Well, he was 12-4 his first 2 years on the road.
Why you keep going back?
Well, it's not that far back.
Yes, it is.
It's not now.
How is that relevant?
You're only as good as your last game in this.
In his first 2 years, he was second only to Tom Brady on the road.
I don't care about the first 2
pretty
years.
good.
Okay, who is he second to now?
I don't know.
Oh, he right there, right? He right there.
He's tied for last with somebody.
Yeah, exactly. He right there with Josh Rosen, Nathan Peterman.
You know who might get unleashed by this move? Is that running back. He might finally see some creases.
Oh, now you're going to see some creases. But you tell your offensive line is underperformed. You was out on Zeke because he only had 30 yards on Sunday. And now you back with Zeke.
How do you have a game where you go 15 carries for 34 yards when you're the best
when they
back
don't,
in football?
well, who said that? Who said he was
You
the
got to
best?
give him more carries. Give him a chance.
Todd Gurley said, you
Touch
see
the ball
these numbers
25 times a game.
He's putting up numbers. He didn't put them up until that coach took over, did he?
I told you, Jeff Fisher was holding him back. Had people thinking Jared Goff was a bust. How would you take Jared Goff?
Yeah.
You like, Sean McVay said, I can work miracle with that guy.
Yeah. So Shannon Sharpe, how nervous are you now that Amari is a Cowboy?
I'm worried because in the next week or so, Howie T gonna pull off old Pat Peterson deal, and I'll be sleeping good again.
That would nullify this move.
Yeah.
I'd be the first to
Old
say.
Pat P got something for y'all.
Yeah.
But he's gonna only get better now. My guy's coming off a major surgery, ACL and LCL. He's only gonna get better. He was 30 or 37 on Sunday. He's only gonna get better over the next month.
Huh. He was terrible in the fourth quarter because he threw an interception that should have been.
It was not a pick.
Reed, and then sack fumble.
He
end
made
of game.
he made a bad read. He predetermined where he was going with the football on third down. He should have just taken the back in the flat for the first.
Yep.
He had a timeout with a minute left. Okay, he made a mistake, Skip. Young guy he's still only a third year quarterback. Guys do that. He predetermined where he was going with the football, and you shouldn't do that. But it happened.
He's got Alshon. He's got.
You make it seem like Alshon, Julio, or AB.
He's got Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz is a very good tight end.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. He's a very good tight end, Skip.
Wow. He's got weapons. Now I got one.
So
one weapon.
One? But
Smiling
But you
all
got
day.
the ultimate weapon. Dak. That's all you need.
That's all I need.
Okay.
They're going to win.
Who was it, Tom Brady and somebody else or
No,
something?
just second to Brady.
Brady? Okay.
In road record.
Right.
But
I
Skip,
don't know
that
if
was
we'll figure it out.
2016 and 2017. What did that do with his 2018?
Well, we'll see. Maybe he'll just turn it right around. Right.
Oh, you
now.
think so?
This could
Yeah.
be
Oh,
it.
you just gonna make? Ain't no U-turn.
And if
You
so,
see
we
that
were
sign?
all here to say
Betting
it.
something on that.
Oh, they on a bye week, so they can't
True.
lose. They can't lose this road game.
James,
You
thank
don't want to bet me on this one?
Oh, no.
Come back later. We will have you. All right, it's a good day for Skip. We got Amari. LeBron lost, but is he to blame for that Lakers loss last night?
No.
We'll tell you
We
next.
don't do blame here.
No mercy.
Boy, there was plenty of drama at Staples last night. LeBron hit the game-tying three in the closing seconds to send the game to overtime. Then, with the Lakers up 1 and 12 seconds left in OT, LeBron missed both free throws after the Spurs.
I just noticed that.
Took the lead. You just
missed
noticed
that
it,
last
Skip?
night. Yeah.
Somehow I don't believe you. He had a chance to be the hero, but LeBron missed a jumper at the buzzer, and the loss dropped the Lakers to 0-3. Skip didn't miss any of that. Okay, Yahoo senior NBA insider Chris Haynes is with us.
Welcome
I have a
back.
feeling
Yeah.
you're going to be in LA plenty this year. All right, what was your takeaway from the way that one ended?
Well, my takeaway, let me first start off with this. First of all, I was dreading coming to this show this morning.
Oh, no.
I already knew that we are going to have the one and only Skip Bayless kind of, have some critical things to say
Yeah,
about
but you
the one.
dress so sharp that I'm going to give you a break.
I appreciate that, Skip. I appreciate that. You know what? Look, in a nutshell, the Los Angeles Lakers experienced in about 10 minutes the heroics of LeBron James.
They did.
And they also experienced a lot of the shortcomings that he's endured throughout his career. They got all of that in a short period of time. And it's easy for me to come here and say that the Lakers wouldn't have been in a position to win that game if it wasn't for LeBron James. But, we heard Luke Walton going off talking about free throw disparity, which is, he might have a valid point. But the truth of the matter is, if LeBron James does make 2 free throws down the end, he gives his team a better chance to win in that game. So I know it was heartbreaking for the Lakers, but they were close. And they weren't close at all pretty much last year.
Good point. They've been close in all 3 games.
Yes,
They've had a
they
chance.
have.
Yeah.
This has been disappointing, and I tell you why it's disappointing, because they gave up so much ground early. They fought and they clawed their way back into the ball game. You're down 8 points with 1:05 to go, and somehow you find yourself in the overtime. You feel like, especially you're at home, you have all the momentum, everything's going your way, and with 55 seconds, you're up 6 because LeBron just got an and one. So if you just play any semblance of D,
That is
you're
true.
going to win this ball game.
You should.
I am not saying you got to play Detroit Pistons type defense of the late 80s, early 90s. I'm talking about any resemblance of a D, and you're going to win this game. But they didn't. So what I'm seeing the first 3 games of the season, Chris, and let me know if I'm wrong here, is that all the shortcomings that we thought the Lakers would have, outside shooting consistently from the 3 and the mid-range, hasn't been there. Defensive, haven't been there. And when JaVale McGee gets in foul trouble, who's going to be the other big that comes in and gives you quality minutes? They become a very small team without JaVale McGee, and then they start getting pounded on the board. So all the shortcomings that we thought would play out over the season have reared its ugly head in the first 3 games. And so even though they're dominating teams in the paint, they're giving up 50% shooting, 41% shooting from the 3. That allows San Antonio to go 15 to 28. Well, you let somebody shoot 54% from the 3-point line, you're losing. I don't care unless you get 120 points in the
Preach,
paint.
son. So far, this conversation has been good.
Yep. Now it's my turn.
Until.
So, as you point out, Chris, LeBron giveth and LeBron taketh away, because the Spurs were up 6 with 36 seconds left in regulation. They got to win that. They got to close that deal. And yet, as you point out, the Lakers up 6 with 55.6 seconds left. Yeah, if you got LeBron James on your side, the quote-unquote best player on the planet, says you got to close.
Got to finish it.
So I'm going to say this one more time, and I need your help. I need your insight on this. The single most baffling Achilles heel I have ever encountered in any superstar's repertoire is LeBron's very unclutch fear of the late game free throw line, because it didn't just start a year ago or 3 years ago. It started back, I was on a show called Cold Pizza, and I started talking about it in LeBron's second year in the league, because he's always fought with the late game free throw line, and I believe he's often had to run from it and take shots that I didn't think he should take, because he is simply the most unstoppable driver of the basketball I have ever seen. That includes Michael Jordan. You can name anybody. Nobody can stop this man from getting to the hole, because he is so big and strong and athletic and skilled and savvy with such a high IQ that even last night there were times where I'd say, that's not fair. Because he would just take Rudy Gay to the basket and just do whatever he wanted to with him.
Bulldoze.
He bulldozed him, and Rudy would have to hang all over him. But LeBron doesn't get enough foul calls. I'll be the first to say it. But the point is that it reared its ugly head right on schedule, because I don't know. I don't think he trusts his motion with it. It's almost like he's a Shaquille O'Neal free throw shooter where his hands are so big, he's not really trusting the stroke of the ball, especially under pressure. But again, if you just go back to the start of last year, he's now 10 of 21 at the free throw line in the final 15 seconds of games that are one-possession games, fourth quarter, overtime. Well, that's 49%. Obviously, that's not very good. That's like Lonzo Ball last year shooting from the free throw line, 48%. It's just bad.
Because remember, we came in here, I think it was on a Thursday game. We came in here that Friday.
Yeah.
He got fouled on the three-pointer against Philly.
Ugh.
And he made the first one.
Well, I mean, I'm just sitting there saying, there's no way that he's going to make 3 of those to tie the
But
game.
Skip, if you look at his motion the exact same. I don't see. Now you'd have to break it down and see how he shoots the ball in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter.
The first one was a little short, and then he tried to overcompensate, and the second one was too long.
Right. I will say this about Skip. So I covered LeBron James day to day back in the Cleveland days. He has gone through stretches where he changes his shot at the free throw line, changes his stance. Sometimes he'll step up to the line and shoot with both feet parallel to each other. Then he'll take a little step back and come into it. So there's no secret. He's not a good free throw shooter. He's had some seasons where he's shot at a good clip. But look, at the end of the game, I understand what you're saying, Skip. Should he have drove? Or should he have took that step?
It's just like Rudy Gay can't guard
I understand,
him,
but the problem is, Skip, it was seeing Luke Walton and LeBron James. He didn't say this in the scrum, but he was very adamant about
he wouldn't get the foul.
He wasn't getting the foul call.
Okay, and it may be the case, but I would trust LeBron driving the basketball to won that one, because he's that good and he's that much better than Rudy Gay. And the help side defender over that side was Bryn Forbes, who's like 6'3" and skinny, and there's no way he's going to help on LeBron enough. So to me, it was the classic case. He had just missed 2. So is he going to drive the basketball? No, he's not going to drive the basketball. So he pulls up and takes a shot that over his career, he's a 32% shooter from the left side from 3. It's not a bad shot. It's not a great shot. He's kind of fallen sideways.
But that's kind of his shot.
It's kind of his shot. And yet, to his credit, he made the first one. It was maybe 30 feet at the end of regulation.
Yeah, after getting hit in the eye.
Okay, but I told Shannon, sometimes he's better that way, because it's like, oh, I got hit in the eye. I'm just going to shoot this with conviction. I'm not sure where it's going.
He shoot all his shots with conviction.
I don't know. Sometimes he didn't shoot the last shot with conviction.
But for me, I don't know how he thinks it. Look, if it's late in the ball game, I drop a pass. Hopefully the quarterback or the coach hadn't lost confidence in me and they throw me another one. Because I believe even though I dropped that one, I'm going to make this one. I'm going to catch this one. And I believe LeBron feels the same way. But, Skip, if you notice, there are very few times that when it comes to the last second that he drives the basketball. He's more apt to pull up.
Yeah, well, because he doesn't trust himself from the line, and I don't blame him.
Well, I trust him.
I'm way past it.
But Skip, even Kobe Bryant, he would take that jumper. Most star players at the end of the game, they don't trust that because the ref don't want to blow a whistle. They don't want to be the judge over.
The only reason you got that call because you're Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron.
So the best stars, they typically get to their rhythm shots and take whether it's a fadeaway or a pull-up jump shot. That's what they do. LeBron James, that was a good shot. Okay, but the situation, they shouldn't have been in that position.
Okay, that is true. They should not have been. And by the way, speaking of no defense, you can't let Rudy Gay, because LeBron's guarding him, you can't just sag it to the lane. And he just let
on top of the key. He just walked straight up into it.
I can't say
you can't let him do it.
I can't say nothing about that.
You got to at least get a hand up. Yes. Over the last 2 years, LeBron, defense is just an afterthought. And I'm not condemning him for it because he plays such high-level offense and he plays so many. He led the league in minutes. So, yeah, you're going to have to sacrifice
42 last
one
night.
end to the other, right?
Yeah.
So what trended last night, what went to the top of the U.S. trends immediately when this game ended? Kobe Bryant, or just Kobe. And why was that? Because a lot of diehards in Laker Nation are saying Kobe would have stepped up and made those free throws. I believe he would have. To your point, that's not the shot that he would try to get. You know, he wouldn't try to get fouled. But if he had been, remember, they just fouled him intentionally at that point, right? So if Kobe had been fouled intentionally, do I believe he'd step up and make those? I do.
It's hard for me to believe that in 20 years, Kobe Bryant has been fouled every time. He's made every free throw attempt he has shot in that situation.
Well,
it's just hard for me to believe.
Yeah.
You don't believe it either, Skip.
Well, maybe there's some mythology involved there, but these people are going to hang on to Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, you know there's some mythology involved.
Well, there is, but they're going to hang on, and yet, in the end, it was a tale of two games, and the Lakers just should have closed this deal.
No doubt.
And I don't know where, like Kyle Kuzma was out of his mind most of the game, and then for 5 minutes in the overtime, he takes one shot and missed it.
Yeah.
I thought he would be the takeover guy. And at some point, he may become their sort of closer, where you just green light him
That's
and
what
just
I
let
think.
him.
That's what I think. And that's what I thought initially, Skip. I thought LeBron was going to direct the traffic, draw the defense, kick over to Kuzma.
Right.
But look, he put them in a position to go to overtime. I had no problem with him taking that shot. It just didn't fall.
All right.
Because he passed he drove and kicked the Kuz.
He did.
Yeah.
It was a big play at the end of regular.
Yeah, that's what LeBron does.
That wasn't too bad, Jimmy.
I mean, do they get the win in Phoenix?
Yeah,
they got to get the. If they don't get the win in Phoenix, there's a problem. There's really a problem.
I mean, we're winless Lakers right now.
I looked up last night. It was at Golden State, and I looked up, and Golden State was ahead of Phoenix 70-46.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
It's a different discussion if that's the case. All right. Well, Chris is going to be back later in the show. Always good to have your takes. Is Jon Gruden starting to fix the Raiders? Does he have this plan? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
The Raiders are a disappointing 1-5 this season, but Jon Gruden is still optimistic. Gruden approved yesterday's huge deal that sent Amari Cooper to the Cowboys for a first-round pick. The Raiders have now stockpiled draft picks after the Cooper trade and the Khalil Mack trade earlier this season. And Gruden told ESPN, quote, "We're going to try to build this thing the right way. We now have 5 number-1 picks in the next 2 years, so I'm excited about that." James Harrison is back with us, but first, Shannon, I'm going to go to you. Interesting strategy here from Gruden. Do you like it?
No, because he's tanking. In other words, he's saying Reggie McKenzie didn't build this team the right way. He built this team the right way. Good young talent, young guys that were playing very well. Yeah, sure, Amari Cooper might have been inconsistent. Derek Carr got hurt a bunch, but he was playing at an MVP season. Now all these guys look terrible. They don't look the same playing for Jon Gruden as they did in years past. Skip, but if I'm a veteran player, I didn't sign up for no rebuild. And normally ownership, they don't pay $10 million per year for a coach to do rebuilds. If you remember, let's take it to basketball. When they started getting rid of Paul Pierce and Garnett and Ray Allen and Rondo, Doc didn't stay on for that. They brought Brad Stevens in to do a rebuild. Normally, when you do a rebuild, you get a coach 4 years, 5 years, $2 million, $2.5 million. You don't give a guy 10 years or $100 million to do a rebuild. Is that what he told him? Oh, Mark, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear this thing down. I'm going to build this thing the right way. No, he told him, heard him talk, ooh, the Raiders, they got some great young pieces. I tell you, they got you. No, Derek Carr, he'll gut you. No, you'll gut the team. That's the only thing that's getting gutted is the Raiders team. And if I'm a veteran player, Skip, I don't do the rebuild. Because guess what? By the time they get good, I'm not going to be there. And guess what, Jon Gruden's going to be there because he got $10 million per year for the next 9 years after this. This is unacceptable what he's doing. He's trying to sell a bill of goods now after he done wrecked this team. He's wrecked it. I told you. I tried to tell you, I said 10 years is a long time, Skip Bayless, for you to talk about you can just jump back into something. No doctor, no lawyer goes 10 years without doing their craft, jumps right back in and expect to pick up where they left off. What surgeon does that?
Well, if they're interviewing surgeons every week and actually watching over, like doing play-by-play of surgery every week, maybe that would help keep them in touch.
No,
right?
no, they ain't the same thing. Being in touch and actually doing, you got to get your hands dirty, Skip. You got to break that thing down. You know what I'm saying, Skip Bayless? You want to, let me ask you a question. You going to have a major surgery performed. You want a guy that ain't done that surgery in 10 years, or you want somebody that's been doing that?
I don't know. How good was the guy?
He was really good, but he ain't done one in 10 years. I know, knowing the Skip Bayless like I know him, Jenny Taft, he ain't letting no guy that ain't done nothing
10 years too long.
Yeah.
I know him.
Well, you're right. It's a bad analogy, but you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Shannon, I would agree with you on what you were saying. Yeah. But then I had to sit back and actually look at it. I said, he done got rid of Mac. I'm like, what is he doing? Yeah. He done lost his mind. Then he got rid of Amari. I'm like, what's going on? So I sat back. I said, you know what? Maybe he got a plan. And I looked at his contract. Like you said, it's 10 years.
Yeah.
He didn't sign up. He said what he had to say to get there. Yeah. But I believe his ultimate goal was, if the team worked out that I have, it's great. But if it doesn't, I can switch this around. I got 10 years. I can build it how I want to.
Right.
So I like what he's doing right now. If he can go and do it exactly how he did it 10 years ago, and he has 7 years to get to where he needs to be, and that's with a Super Bowl. So right now, sitting back, looking at it, I think he's doing the right thing.
You a veteran player, you liking that on his team?
I'm not liking it as a veteran player, but for him, it's a great move. He has to build a team that is going to win a championship.
He just got 2 first-rounders for Khalil Mack and another first, which is outrageously overpaying for Amari Cooper.
Right.
So that's 5 firsts the
3
next
next
2
year,
years.
2019 and 2 in 2020.
Now, you got to use them wisely.
Yes.
You know? So, you know what this reminds me of? I was covering the Dallas Cowboys back in 1988-89, and here came this upstart from the University of Miami named Jimmy Johnson. He'd never coached a lick of pro football, even as assistant. He walked in the door and he said, I don't like any of this junk. So he pulled me aside one day early in the season, like week 2. He said, what would you say if I told you I was going to trade Herschel Walker? And I was like, what? You'd trade Herschel? He was godlike in Dallas because he was really all they had in marquee value at that point. I wasn't a big Herschel fan because I think there was some smoke and mirrors going on there, but he said, I'm going to do it. He said, how do you think it'll go over? I said, people will riot. That's what will happen. And they rioted. And you know and I know that was the beginning of the building of a dynasty because he got back the sun and the moon and Mars and Jupiter and Venus from Minnesota. Right. And I don't know what Minnesota was doing. I don't know. It's way before your time, I think, right?
I don't know what they were doing.
I don't either.
Can't speak to
They
that.
thought they were a piece away because they had an outstanding defense.
They did. But the point was, it reminds me a little bit of this situation where you had a new coach who was friends with the owner, just as the way Jon Gruden is friends with Mark Davis. Right. And Jimmy thought he had enough security just to nuke it and start over. And he's running off Everson Walls, who was a perennial Pro Bowler. And
too tall.
Yeah, too tall. And Danny Noonan was a first-round pick. He didn't like any of them. He just said, you guys are all gone. You're out. I'm starting completely over. And that first year, they were horrendously bad. 1-15 with Steve Walsh starting a bunch of games and Troy starting the other games. And the rest is history because a dynasty erupted from all that, all those draft picks. So, again, I can tell you that Jon Gruden didn't love Khalil Mack's every down intensity, and that's not his kind of guy. Is he a gifted? There's no doubt. You know, is he James Harrison? Probably not. He's not James Harrison. But the point is, Amari wasn't his cup of tea either because Amari doesn't. He doesn't have that game face mentality. He doesn't have that. You know, I'm going to rip your throat out kind of mentality. So Jon said, okay, if I can get a lot for both of them. And the Athletic just reports that they say Derek Carr might be next, and I wouldn't be surprised that at all. Yeah. And this report says that he's losing the locker room now. So is Derek Carr on the way out? Sure.
Skip, you heard that a couple of weeks ago. Because normally when you hear people just don't. Y'all media just don't make these things up. Keep credentials are on the line here. when you start hearing this rumblings about this guy could potentially move, you hear this about Demaryius Thomas in Denver. You start hearing, oh, there's some truth to that.
There's truth.
My grandma used to say, boy, there's a little truth even in a lie.
Yes.
Hey, when you start hearing rumblings like this, but let me just take it from this.
By the way, has Jon Gruden told some little lies here and there? Yeah.
Yep. But let me look at it from this point. James, you and I were looking at a veteran player. If I'm an Oakland fan, I'm paying $300-400 for a ticket for a rebuild? Oh, you trying to get good for Vegas? Well, you right here in Oakland right now. What am I supposed to do?
Okay, if you get on those 5 first-round picks.
But by the time they get good, they're going to be in Vegas. I'm talking about right now. I ain't going to be traveling to Vegas every week to watch
Vegas
you
next year, right?
No, they got like 3 years, 3 years, like 2021 or something. They're ways away.
They got a little time.
They got, yeah.
Okay.
But in the meantime, what I'm supposed to do, so you want me to spend my money, get me a suite, come tailgate, buy all this memorabilia, and what? I mean, paraphernalia, then what? For 4 and 12?
Yep.
3 and 13? That's what I'm. So let me get this right. Everybody else is underperforming at the level of they're getting paid, but Jon Gruden is overperforming at $10 million.
Oh, I'm not saying he's overperforming. I'm saying
That's what I got. Skip. I got 1 win. I got 1 win. That's all I got.
Okay, but they know what he wrought the first time around, and it was really good.
No, we update resumes here.
Okay, well, again.
See what he did. See, that's way down. Now, see, Skip, that's what happens when you have to update your resume. Like you start up here. Like the first thing you put up there is what? The last thing you done. You don't start. I went to Harvard. What's the last occupation you had? I worked at Goldman Sachs. You work your way back, and then I got a BA, or then I got an MB from Harvard or Yale or wherever.
Okay, what if you took over a football team and after a month or two you decided I can only be mediocre with what I have in this locker room?
And
I'm going to tear it down.
And what about those 53 players say, you know what, we can only be mediocre with this coach?
Okay, well then a bunch of them are going to be.
Hey, that's easy. I mean, you just looking at it from one
when
point.
You get a coach $100 million now.
Yeah.
He's going to do whatever he
security.
has to do to make sure he secures exactly what they paid him to do, and that's to win a championship. And I feel like right now that's what he's trying to do. When he did that press conference, he said the Raiders are back. He didn't say in 2 years. He didn't say in 3 years. He said the Raiders are back, baby. He put that hat on.
Yeah.
He got that haircut. Hey. Him and Mark Davis got haircut together.
Sometimes you do what you got to do to get what you want.
So in other words, he lied.
He might have.
Okay.
Is it on us for falling for it, though?
No, I didn't fall for it.
I fell for it a bit.
Oh, no.
No, you didn't fall for it?
No.
I fell for it. I'm the only one, I guess.
Skip kind of bought in a little bit, too.
I bought into it because I believe in Coach Gruden. I just do. And I think he will turn it around really quickly.
It's amazing what he did with Tony Dungy's players. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see what he do.
Well.
Because them were Tony's. All them Hall of Famers, them belong to Tony.
Okay, maybe they needed a completely different personality. They needed Chucky Gruden to come in and shake things up.
Well, Reggie might as well go ahead and hit him with them deuces.
Yeah.
Because he said he don't like the way he wanted to trade the #1 pick they got a couple of years ago to safety. Mm-hmm. So basically he said, Reggie, you've done a horrible job here.
Okay.
And he was in the playoff a couple of years ago.
So Reggie McKenzie has picked 50 football players for the Oakland Raiders, and now 8 of them are left on the roster. What does that say?
Skip, you make it seem like he's the only one that miss on players.
I think.
How many Jon Gruden got rid of since he's been there?
I think Reggie McKenzie's on the hot seat. He's going to be the next one out. He and Derek Carr may be able to leave together.
That's all right, Reggie. You did a good job, Reggie. I mean, everybody wants to make it seem like they're going to be Ozzie Newsome. The likelihood of you picking 4 or 5 Hall of Famers, Skip, is not very good. You know that.
Not very good. Nope.
Sometimes things fall for you and you get it right. Yep. You get a Jonathan Ogden and a Ray Lewis and a Suggs and an Ed Reed. Mm-hmm. But that's few and far between.
Sometimes you hit on a Shannon Sharpe in round 7.
You do. It happens.
Or a Tom Brady.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit, I was just waiting. Diamond just waiting somebody to polish me on up.
Yeah.
Everybody, that big old clunk of rock,
You're
he ain't
waiting.
nothing. People had him on the thing, they looking at me, I ain't nothing but old paperweight.
Yeah.
Dan Reese, let me get that. Hey, little shot.
Cowboys went to Savannah State, timed him, he ran 4.8. They said, we're out.
4.8?
Yep, 4.8. Out.
How many times I've been caught from behind?
Out.
Who has the longest touchdown from scrimmage in NFL history in playoffs?
And where was that? Where did that happen?
Against that guy right
That
there.
is correct.
I like
Against that guy right there.
And it was the one play that your team needed to win that game at Oakland.
Yeah.
That was one
I ain't
step.
have no-
That guy was one step from the Super Bowl.
Yeah. He's still one step. Well, he's like 32 steps now.
He back now.
No, well, Arizona worse than that team. But they're getting there, Skip. You know that.
Are
Teams gonna be
are
coming,
they
Skip.
still interesting to follow? Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
You don't watch the Raiders when they play. No, they don't. Skip, don't
They're
do
going
that.
to get a bunch of first-round picks.
Okay,
They're
what
gonna
are you
have a lot
going to do
of
with
new
those?
talent.
Now, guess who I know? The last team I know had a bunch of first-round picks. How'd that work out for them? Cleveland. How that work?
Blake picked terrible. They reached all up out of their
You
body.
see all the picks? You see all?
Yeah, that wasn't good. They need to do something with their GM.
Yeah. Well, they did. They
got a new one. They got John Dorsey now.
Yeah. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. He signed
They're
Gruden. They
getting
got
there.
Tyreek Hill. And they
Slow
got
build.
Yeah.
Slow build,
Yep.
kind of.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though. What happened with Derek Carr, I think that is the next chapter to this story
go.
with the Raiders. We'll have to see. James, thank you for being here. Is it time to start worrying about the winless Lakers? I can't believe I'm saying it, but we'll just
No mercy.
The Lakers are winless this season after a tough one-point loss to the Spurs. LeBron hit a game-tying three-pointer late in regulation to send the game to overtime, but he missed 2 free throws late in overtime that led to the loss. It's the first time LeBron has started a season 0-3 since 2004. But after the game, he still seemed optimistic. Let's take a listen.
I know what I got myself into. It's a process. I get it. And we'll be fine. So, I didn't come here thinking we were going to be, blazing storms, right out the gate. It's a process, and I understand that. So, the game is, frustrating not to get the win, but I've showered and I'm good now.
Chris Haynes is back with us.
Shower.
Got the shower in, he's over it.
That clears everything.
Yeah.
Should we be discouraged by this 0-3 start? He seemed like he knew what he got into, but what are you thinking?
Well, I spoke with him a little bit to the side after the game, and I actually wrote about this for Yahoo Sports. He equated what he's going through and his approach to The Godfather, the movie The Godfather, when the son, Michael, wanted to join the family business. And the Don was like, look, I feel like you can do so much better. And I want to make sure that you're put in position to do better for you and your family. And he said that's what he's doing right now with directing and teaching. If you see a lot, like I told him, I said, you're doing a lot more hand pointing, a lot more teaching on the court, aside from just playing basketball. He said, I have to do that right now. I want to make sure everybody is equipped and they know what to do moving forward. And so that was his analogy he gave to me. And he told me, just like he said in the scrum, is that, look, I signed up for this. I knew this wasn't going to be an easy fix, but we're just trying to eliminate some bad habits and establish a winning culture. So with all that being said, I think obviously he's disappointed with the being 0-4 thus far, but he's looking at the big picture. Is he frustrated? Yes, he is. I see it in his face. He's not going to come out and say it. The cameras are on him. Everybody's nitpicking his every word.
Parsing every word
every word he says. But yeah, he's frustrated. He's definitely frustrated. But he's going to make sure he takes a cautious approach and makes sure he doesn't say anything that can be misconstrued.
Yeah, he can't be frustrated, but I can, and I am frustrated. Because let me ask you a question. If you were to ask him at the start of the season, 3 games into the season, how many guys say you think they'll be 0-3? How many you think say, yeah, we'll be 0-3?
Nah, yeah.
Exactly. And that's my point. I would have never in my wildest, I'd have bet a lot of money. Well, not my money, but I'd have bet a lot of somebody else's money that they wouldn't be 0-3. And Skip Harris, the problem is outside shooting and defense. They're the 3rd worst three-point shooting team, but they give up the highest percentage of made three-pointers. Skip, that's not a good combination. If you're a boxer, you don't land very many punches, but you take the highest number of punches in the fight. That leads to knockouts. This leads to losses, and they don't shoot the 3-ball very well. Everybody has moved to playing back to the basket, laying the ball up, middle of the paint, shots to the 3-point line, because they would gladly give you 2, we'll take 3. And at the end of the day, we'll see, especially when you're letting a team shoot 41%. And again, I told you, Skip, this is why he's going to lead the league in minutes. Guess who lead the league in minutes 3 games into the season?
Who's that?
LeBron.
Oh,
At a tick under 40. You know why? Because all these
Skip a
games are going
shot.
to be close, and he's going to have to play those kind of minutes.
No, he wants to win MVP, and I don't blame him.
You know, when he getting off to a slow, and this is one of the problems that hurts him in the MVP, because he gets off to such a slow start, where you get guys like Anthony Davis that come out like gangbusters, and some of these other guys that come out like gangbusters, and then All-Star break, he picks it up, but he's giving up so much ground. But yeah, look, he started slow in Miami the second time around in Cleveland.
True.
He started slow, and I guess this to be expected, but man, okay, Portland, we can understand. Portland's a tough place to play. Paul Allen had just passed. They were a very emotional
No
team.
shame in that.
But you got to win this one, man.
Okay, but the Rockets, there's no shame in that.
Yes, it's shame.
They got embarrassed.
They lost to the Clippers. They lost to the Clippers.
I got it, but they're coming with blood in their eyes on Saturday night for LeBron's Hollywood opener.
And we lost to the Spurs without Kawhi. Kawhi doing big things over
Kawhi, without DeJounte Murray, without Manu,
How you
without
like
Tony
How
Parker.
you like Kawhi in Toronto?
We're talking about the Lakers.
I
So,
was going to say, doesn't talk about him.
So silly me, I really like what I've seen from the Los Angeles Lakers so far because at Portland, they're down only 1 point with 8 minutes to go. That's a pretty good position to be in, and I thought LeBron should have closed it, and he's trying to do too much with players he doesn't really know under fire, and he has 3 big fourth-quarter turnovers, and they didn't get it home because Portland's really good at home, and those two guys can, you know them well, they can shoot their lights out in Portland, and they did. And then against Houston, when the brawl happened, there's 4:13 left, and they're only down 1. And then the Lakers somehow got more distracted by the brawl than the Rockets did, and the Rockets took it personally, and then here they came, and they just took the game over the last 4 minutes. And then last night, again, you're up 6 with 55.6 seconds left in overtime. Obviously, somebody's got to close it. LeBron couldn't. So does LeBron need to find out how to be the facilitator to the close instead of the actual closer? Is it, you mentioned earlier, is it Kuzma? They got to find their niches, find their roles, find what works for them. I think Josh Hart, you want to talk about
Glad you
tough.
mentioned- you mentioned him.
You want to talk about playing hard every possession. He just plays his butt
He and
off.
Caldwell Pope need to switch.
Okay, well, that's fine.
It's time already?
Okay? They're
It's time
finding
already?
out. And it's helped. Last night helped.
think so, sir?
Yeah. Well, it helped clarify their rotation last night because there's no Rondo and there's no Brandon Ingram.
Right.
All of a sudden they can find out, oh, Kuzma can do that there.
Right.
Oh, he can score 19. He can keep us afloat.
But the thing is, Skip, it's so hard for him to get those major minutes when Ingram is there. You
Okay,
think about
well,
he played
maybe
40
at some point it flips the other way. Maybe Kuzma starts getting the major minutes. I don't know.
Stop it.
Well, it was interesting. LeBron kept raving about Brandon Ingram, and I kept saying he's saying nothing about Kuzma. And I don't know, does he not love it that Kuzma it's like he's never met a shot he doesn't love?
Kuzma is a better fit for LeBron James right now. I know LeBron is high on Ingram, but nobody can catch and shoot from that wing position like Kuzma, aside from Josh Hart. But I've been
Or
around.
Lonzo. Don't forget Lonzo. He's starting to stroke it a little bit. I don't know. Has he not made a few?
He made a few, but hold on.
Yeah, he's made
I
some
love how
clutch
you want to
ones.
hold. You love that.
He snuck that in there right there.
I did. Well, he made the
Prematurely,
one.
I
He
mean-
made
I
the
mean,
one at Portland that cut it to 1.
He made that one?
Ago.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
He did.
I mean,
Did he not make one in overtime?
Yeah, he made a couple of
made-
big ones. Skip, I'm gonna give him credit. He's 3
I
for
seen him
7.
passed up some too that led to a turnover because he wasn't confident, consistent at it. Well, but I digress.
You digress.
I've seen about 3 coaches. Going back to your initial point, Shannon, I've seen 3 coaches who have said initially from the start of the season we're going to limit LeBron James's minutes. We're going to try. We're going to try to.
You have.
We're going to try to keep him fresh. Already 3 games, Shannon. Already.
Already 3 games. He's already at 40 minutes. Because the games are going to be close. And if the games are close, Skip, that means he's going to end up, the final 6, the final 8 minutes where you wanted to play him 35 minutes.
So Luke says to LeBron on the court, come on over here. And
He can say that.
Yeah.
He can say it all he wants.
I mean, the thing about it,
He can say it all.
what do we normally see? LeBron normally plays the entire first quarter. He's been coming out 2.5, 3 minutes, 3:30 into the first quarter.
And he still leads the league in minutes played.
Starting in the second quarter for the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, he's on the bench.
Yep.
But guess what? When the rubber needs to meet the road, you got to have your best player out there, Skip.
Okay. I'm just seeing a lot of firepower here. I like that on offense. There's fun to watch as anybody because they push it more than anybody. Again, points in the paint. we got the stat. At Portland, they had 70 points in the paint. No team the whole year last year had 70 points in the paint. The highest was 68.
They got 74.
74 last night. It took overtime, but they got 74 points. That is pushing the basketball.
Okay,
like
well,
crazy.
who's going to put out the fire on the other team?
Well,
when they get going,
I told you going in,
That's the
they
problem.
just don't. And you're talking about LeBron pointing a lot on defense. Well, I wish he'd do more playing than pointing.
He's
on
pointing on
defense.
offense, getting them right, Skip. Stop trying to take shots now. We done beat up the man
Well,
enough now.
he
He got
mic'd-
enough bruises. He was down.
He was mic'd up on Saturday night, I believe, and he's "Here, switch, like over the top. He's yelling on defense. I'm saying, just play, like
We beat
guard
him,
somebody.
Skip.
No, I hear
Skip.
you. I hear you.
I think we beat him up enough.
Yeah.
He's already feeling down.
Okay.
He missed a shot. He missed 2 free throws.
Well, he washed it off, though. He took
No,
a
he
shower.
didn't.
He washed that unclutchness right off his body.
See, I saw what you did.
I had to.
No, he washed the loss
Sorry,
off.
LeBron.
But let me tell you this, Skip. The jury is still out on your guy Lonzo Ball if he can play
But
alongside
you know what?
LeBron James.
You know what?
Jury is still out.
I thought he looked pretty good last night,
that's
and
fine.
he is starting to look like an adult to me. His body and his body language look like
Can we
he's
get
growing
him to
up.
finish at the
Okay,
rim?
I agree with you. He's got the ability. He's 6'7", and he can jump, and he's obviously got great handle.
You gave him a couple inches right there, Skip.
I think he's 6'7".
Ooh,
No, I
that's
do.
pretty tall right there.
Okay.
I thought
Well,
it
you
was
don't think he's?
I thought he was like 6'5", maybe.
No, he's
Close
taller
to
than that.
Ooh.
He's 6'7".
Ooh, 6'7".
Oh, he was just towering over Patty Mills, and it's like
Patty Mills,
Patty's about 5'8" now, Skip. Patty,
Yeah, Patty, yeah.
On a good day, Skip.
Yeah.
On a good
But
day.
you want to talk about clutch? Did Patty?
Oh, he had a
Mills
big shot.
Oh, that
clutch
was
shot?
that was woo. And for him to
Come off
get
the
the
hit?
yeah.
Shoot a jump shot? Wow.
Well, Pop, coaches.
Oh, who did he hit that shot on, Skip?
Lonzo?
Oh, the defensive
The
guy?
6'7" guy with the long wingspan?
He does look.
Oh.
His build looks better though.
Who had the best defensive win shares individually? The Lakers last year. Lonzo Ball did. Who led them in rebounds for most of the year until the very end of the year?
Who had the
Lonzo
highest
Ball.
plus minus last night for the Los Angeles Lakers? Who had the highest plus minus last year for the Los Angeles Lakers, Skip Bayless?
It's right there.
I mean, you love to do that.
It's right there, Skip.
No, you got it. Here you go. Here you
He's
go.
right there.
What,
It's right
about
there.
what about LeBron?
What do he have?
What?
Terrible. He's the best player on the planet. He was -6.
He
last
played
year.
10 more minutes than Lonzo.
Huh?
So if you put Lonzo in those minutes, ain't no telling that put
Well,
minus
then you
14.
you can't be -6 if you're the best player on the planet.
No,
Against
okay.
the lowly Spurs.
I'm
Lowly Spurs.
Oh, they're
Normally-
lowly now.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, I,
But here's the thing,
Oh.
Chris. Normally, when a team loses, that means somebody had to be at a minus. So how
No doubt. Yeah.
Skip Bayless, I love how you try to. You all boy, that joke is-
He did it.
so what are you trying to
He
do?
did
You're
it.
trying to tell me LeBron played great last night?
No, he didn't play great. They lost. He missed 2 free throws. He turned the ball over. He missed the last second shot. No, he didn't play well.
Thank you.
But I make no excuses for LeBron, unlike you.
No excuses.
Well, I'm going way out on a limb. I think they're going to win at Phoenix.
Oh,
How about that?
How
How about that?
Okay.
It'd be nice to talk
Because
about
I'm
a
bullish
win.
on LeBron James as a Laker.
Yeah, that's a redwood limb. Sturdy.
Looking
Ollie
forward
Braun,
to it.
I love him.
Plenty to watch, Chris. Thank you for being
you for
here.
having me.
We look forward to having you back. All right, is it time for the Giants to bench Eli? Oh, we'll discuss next.
No mercy.
So the Giants are disappointing. 1-6 after a tough 23-20 loss last night to the Falcons. Eli Manning was sacked 4 times, and he missed some scoring chances in the red zone, but he also threw for nearly 400 yards. Shannon, how would you grade Eli's night?
Well, Skip, he didn't turn the ball over, but it's really hard because a lot of his numbers are inflated because they were behind by as many as 10 points late in the ball game.
Which seemed like 30 points.
Right,
Yeah.
and the Falcons were perfectly content to let him, get 10 yards here, 13 yards there, just not throw the ball over the top of their head and get a big play quick. Although that happened because they hit Shepard and hit Odell. He's just so inconsistent. There are some times that receivers, he throws a hot route to Ingram and Ingram doesn't get his head around, and he's like, dude, the blitz came from over you. Tell me what you saw. The blitz come from over you. You're hot. Get your head around. Let me hit you with the ball. He's asking him to stop it, stop in the zone, and he keeps going. A lot of the problem that with the Giants, Eli might not be the problem, but I don't know if he's the solution either, Skip, because of his inconsistency.
Yep.
There are throws that you would expect him to make, someone that has been in the league as long as he has and has the pedigree that he has, and has won some big games. Eli's made some big throws. Has he been inconsistent his entire career? Yes. You don't win 2 Super Bowls and lead the league in interceptions 3 times, Skip. So that tells you he's wildly inconsistent.
Yeah.
But in situations like this, you have to make throws to get your team going again. So I'm gonna give him a C because I thought it's hard to judge him. He played a part. You can only play who against you play. But I just thought a lot of his numbers were inflated for the simple fact he was behind for so much of the ball game.
So I'm going to give him a B as in blah, because the whole game was blah to me.
Yeah.
Yet if I told you going in, if I just read you the numbers and you didn't know the outcome, and I said Eli threw for 399, that's almost 400 yards on Monday Night Football, and he completed 71% of his passes, you'd say, ooh, I'd give the Giants a shot in this game. What if I told you Matt Ryan threw for only 379? You'd say, well, gee, Eli outplayed Matt Ryan. He didn't really outplay Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan actually threw it down the field some.
Yes.
And my takeaway was that Eli, as good as these numbers sound, it was painful to watch. And to me, Eli at age 37, the guy who beat Tom Brady twice in Super Bowls, looks washed up to me, while Tom Brady at 41 is going strong as ever, looks as great as ever. And in the end, I do feel sorry for Odell Beckham Jr. and in some ways Saquon Barkley, because they're stuck with this going forward and there's no solution to it for the rest of this year.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, Eli can still do it just on savvy experience. He still has enough feel for the game that he's going to make some plays. They're just not big plays. They're not down the field plays where you say, wow, that was a good throw, like the Manningham throw in the second Brady Super Bowl.
Right.
When's the last time you saw that out of Eli?
Right. And that's the thing, is just the inconsistency in which he plays with, Skip. That's not good enough now. This team is not good enough overall defensively. You can make one or two throws. When you had a defense like what they had in the first Super Bowl, he could get away with making one or two throws a game because that's all you needed. But because they're not that anymore, he has to be better more often. And far too many times we see him come up short in that end. It's frustrating, Skip, when you play a dependent position and you need your guy to be special that you're depending on. I mean, it's just like anything. If you're depending on someone to do something for you and they're unreliable, you get frustrated. Hey, bro, I need somebody to come pick me up, take me to work or take me to a function. We supposed to be there at 8. And here it is, 8:30. I mean, how you think I'm supposed to act, Skip? And that's they're like, bro, I'm counting on you. I mean, you come here with all these Super Bowls, you be Tom Brady. Just give me a little bit of that. Eli said, no, I ain't got none of that for you. I got like one or two plays of those a game. But just think, with those dynamic playmakers, two of the most dynamic playmakers at their position in all the games. And they're 1-5.
1-6.
1-6 now because of why, Skip? The guy that they depend on to get them the ball is vastly inconsistent.
They're 27th in this league in points scored.
With those two guys.
And Eli in QBR is 25th, so that just tells you. But his numbers look like he's 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. But there's nothing happening. You know, they can't generate
They're empty.
much. They're empty.
Because think about
These
it.
are empty
Think
calories.
about how many times, with the exception of maybe the Texans, they've been behind in every game. So he's going to have a lot of yardage because he's constantly throwing to try to get himself back into the ball game.
How they won that game at Houston, I still don't know.
I still don't know either, Skip. I still don't know how they won that game. And that's what you have to look, because like you said, if you didn't see the game and somebody tell you, man, Eli had 399 yards, you're going to be like, what?
What? Eli Manning?
But then you go back like, they spent majority of the game behind and he was throwing to try to catch up. Oh, that explains it.
So,
empty calorie, Skip.
with Eli as the quarterback, they're about to miss the playoffs 6 times in 7 seasons. That's just horrible. That's unacceptable.
Eli's empty calories. They taste good, but they do nothing for you. His numbers, they look good, but they do absolutely nothing. You like that stuff, Skip?
Worst way to describe someone. Don't ever say I'm empty calories.
You had that bread yesterday with that butter on it.
Literally this big. Okay. Always calling me out. The World Series starts tonight. Skip and Shannon make their picks.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. World Series gets underway tonight on Fox. The Red Sox send Chris Sale to the mound against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. Boston is a slight favorite in the series. Shannon, what is your prediction?
Skip, I fully expect the Red Sox to win this ball game. They got the 2 MVP front runners, Mookie Betts and J.D. Martinez. Jackie Bradley Jr. is on fire right now. They got great pitching. But I ain't picking them because I'm a Yankees fan.
Hey.
Yep. I'm hating. Yes, I'm hating.
Hating.
Strong dislike.
Okay.
Strong dislike. I'm riding with Clayton Kershaw. I say he pitched 3 games and they win in 7.
Really?
I got the Dodgers, but I fully expect the Red Sox to win, but I can't pick them.
Well, my allegiance is torn because each starting staff has a pitcher from Vanderbilt University, David Price, Walker Buehler. That's pretty great. We got
Good time
baseball
for you.
U going on at Vanderbilt.
You ain't got no baseball.
Yes, we
nothing.
do.
You got 2 guys.
So, all I can say is the Red Sox won 17 more regular season games than the Dodgers did. So, I'm afraid the Dodgers are going to lose in 7 games for the second straight year, this time at Boston.
Well, I'm going with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And I'm counting on them to do what they should do.
Yeah.
Win this series. But Boston's loaded. They can hit the ball. Mookie Betts is unbelievable, Skip.
Yeah.
Martinez, Jackie Brett, like I said, those guys, they can hit the ball. There's a reason why they won 106, 108 ball game? 108 ball game.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
pretty
blew
good.
through the postseason.
Yeah.
They ran through the Astros.
They did?
So, no, but I can't pick them. The Yankees.
Yeah.
Yankees should be here.
You going to go?
I might go.
Huh?
I might.
Huh?
You gonna go?
As soon
Probably
as
watch it on TV.
As soon as the Dodgers
all
get
go
them down,
together.
as soon as the Dodgers get them down,
Hang
I'm getting
out.
all my Dodgers gear on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plan this
I
out.
watch Fox.
Come on,
Oh,
Kirk.
really?
Come on.
Okay.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.